A little more juicy. Ron puts the boot in. Eric's got it all wrong, and Eric gets run over. This is to do with Cristiano Ronaldo speaking to former United teammate Rio Ferdinand on a podcast about Eric Ten Hag. He said the coach says they cannot compete to win the Premier League and Champions League. As Manchester United coach, you cannot say that you're not going to fight to win the league or Champions League. Mentally, you can say maybe we don't have that potential, but I cannot say that. We're going to try. You have to try. Now, obviously, this was put to Ten Hag today, so let's see what he had to say about it.
Cristiano Ronaldo has voiced his opinion on Manchester United to Rio Ferdinand, and one of the things that he said was, you can't say that you can't win the Premier League at Manchester United. What is your view of that, and can Manchester United win the Premier League?
He said that Manchester United can't win the Premier League.
He said that you...
No, he said this. Have you read the article very well? So he's far away from Saudi, or far away from Manchester. Everyone can have, and is entitled to have an opinion. It's okay.
Obviously, the international break, there's a lot of noise. How does it impact you? Do you block it out? I mean, how do you deal with it? Because
doesn't impact me. I know in the process where we are and what we have to do, where we are going. I have said before, we are still in a transition period. We have to integrate a lot of young players also in the team. We are still dealing with injuries. We have to bring the injuries back in the team. And before anyone thinks about excuses, no, we have to win every game. I know that, the team knows this, and doesn't matter who are available. And we will focus on every game and have in every game the mindset we have to win.
Frank Leboeuf's still with us. What do you think of this back and forth with Cristiano?
Well, but did Eric Ten Hag,
Hag?
has he said that? I don't know if he has. I don't know, I have no idea. Look, I don't think anybody thinks they're in a position to challenge for the Premier League, not least the Champions League. Not even close. What we have here is a former player who was out of favour, wasn't playing well, and was basically surplus to requirements for that manager. And I think he's quite happy to go on with another ex-United player and have a dig. Look, most of the guys here have been pretty hard on Ten Hag with some of the things he said and done. But I don't mind the way he handled that, really. He just sort of batted it away, swatted it away for what it was worth. And as I say, Ronaldo was at United. He was playing poorly. He was a bit of a problem in the end. He was on a lot of money. Nobody else, and I think it was Stevie touched on this the other day, nobody else really wanted to touch him. And certainly not in the wages he was on in Europe in terms of the big teams. Had a poor Euros, and he's playing in Saudi Arabia. And so I don't really see it. And it's a bit like Ten Hag. He brushed that off because he's got a million other things to worry about than a former player who's playing in a backwater somewhere, jibing away about Man United. That's nothing new.
But to that point, and I think while you still have the history, Ronaldo's trying to make the point that winning is a mentality that clearly has been a little bit lost at Manchester United of late. And of course, Ronaldo was critical of Ten Hag, given their history, but I mean, that was lost some time ago. The truth is, United are nowhere near being able to compete, let alone win serious silverware. And while, yes, as Ten Hag, I'm sure, would point out, they've won 2 cups, particularly the FA Cup kind of came almost as a surprise. But this is a United that is still trying to find its way since Alex Ferguson, and they're nowhere closer. To that point, and I continue to grow less and less convinced by Ten Hag. And even in addressing Ronaldo's criticism, it's the same old, this is a process, and we're going through things, and we're building for the future. But over the last 2 years, there's been little evidence of that. I can't tell you what United have done in terms of building towards that future while trying to win football games, a majority of football games, at the same time. So I'm with Ronaldo in the criticism, but at the same time, I just don't see the direction that Ten Hag is trying to take this club.
Yeah, and speaking with what Ten Hag had to say, Frank, you hear him say, obviously it's a transition, but then he says no excuses. So what's it to be?
I don't really know. It's hard to say. As he tried to tell us, it will take a time and maybe a learning process of being winners in order to say one day we can win the Premier League. About that, I just want to say that I understand Cristiano. Cristiano's just say, maybe you know you cannot win, but don't say it. That's what it is. We all know the history behind, between those two guys. But I think Cristiano is right. When you are Manchester United, you don't have to say we're going to win the Premier League, but please don't say you're not going to win it. Because that's the standard of the club. You never know what can happen. The fans don't want to hear that. They want to hear that, as I think it's Craig's mentioned, that you have to have a mentality, winning mentality. And saying that is already making a statement that, no, we can do it. We are losers or we are runner-ups. But not saying it opens maybe some hopes and therefore, yeah, you don't have to say you won the Premier League, but maybe you give a chance to chance.
I love that tagline there. Ten Hag fires back at Ronaldo. If that's firing back, I've been hit harder with a feather duster. Honestly, if that's firing back, I don't know. Well, it was very meek, wasn't it? Look, listen, I'll pick on the United manager and others for what they do and what they say. Really, more around the football. This is international break, player spouting off. I don't want to say it again, but it's a disgruntled player who's sort of coming towards the end of his career. And I get it, it's a winning mentality at Man United, but that was the old Man United. This is a big cliff they've fallen off, big cliff. And I think nobody within their right mind at the moment would look at it and say, I mean, most of the people on here have got them at the very, very best. They're going to struggle to try and compete for the top four. And that's a good season for them, really good. So, as I say, Ten Hag's got much more to worry about than Ronaldo spouting off.
Well, he's got Southampton to worry about this weekend on Saturday.
Yeah,
However,
he can't afford to lose.
Yeah, well, Southampton have lost 3 on the trot. Manchester United just 1 behind them in terms of losses, which is why they are in their respective positions in the table. Manchester United in 14th with just 3 points after 3 games. Southampton with no points after those 3 games. And as you said, Craig, United can't afford to lose this.
No, they've got a couple of games that are, I can't remember who the next one is. It might be Crystal Palace or so a team that are one of the teams that are struggling, but he's got to get this one out of the way first. I mean, if you come off the international break, off the pasting by, it was the last game Liverpool, I think it was.
Liverpool 3-0.
Yeah, just pretty much a non-event really. For Liverpool, it was a cakewalk. You come off that and you lose to Southampton. I mean, the knives are already starting to come back.
You're right about it being Palace after that as well.
Sorry?
You're right that it is Palace after that.
Away.
Away.
Who went to Chelsea recently and got a good result. Have had a tough start to the season. But that's a tougher game than Southampton on paper. But this sort of goodwill from the FA Cup win, which was a surprise, took him into the summer, sort of saved his job, even though United were looking elsewhere. Convinced everybody that he would try to convince everybody he was still the man. There's not a lot of convincing has happened in the first three or 4 games of the season. So he's already back on the clock, I think. Now, defeat here, if he's picking up 1 point out of the next 6 against these 2 teams, and then I think he goes into a cup game, he's bang in trouble again. Because you're expected to go to a newly promoted side like Southampton and roll them over, even as bad as United are. So this is a huge game for him, a huge 2 games. Loses both, and I really don't see how Ineos and all these new people that have come in, Dan Ashford, Jason Wilcox, Sir Dave Brailsford, Jim Ratcliffe with the money, I don't know how they can sit back if he loses the next 2 games. They could be actually in the bottom 3. There's no way, I don't see how he can survive that. I really don't. So that's how tight it's going to be for him.
I'll go further. You cannot lose to Southampton. You can't.
Do you think he goes if he loses to Southampton?
I think he has to. At best, you lose to Southampton, you kind of limp along to the next international window. And I say at best because I'm just kind of assuming that Ineos and all the powers that be haven't really figured out who the next manager is yet. But it gives them, 3 weeks to mid-October to figure that out. That is absolutely at best. And that is only if Manchester United, as we speak, have no idea who they'd like to succeed Ten Hag if they were to replace him sooner rather than later.
Why did you bring up the next international window? I've only just got out of this one. I
know you're looking forward to it.
I know.
I know you're counting down the days.
Crossing the days off on the calendar.
News for you. I've got news for you. I'm going away.
Ineos know that. Ineos know that. So they know Craig's going to be away. So this is the perfect time.
One step ahead of us. Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, I just want to add that it's not even a defeat that could risk Ten Hag's positioning. I think even drawing away from home against Southampton, who lost the three first games, could put him in danger. If he draws the two next game, that's not Manchester United, positioning that that you could find. They could be in the last three, drawing the two last game, which is not the standard of what Manchester United. And I'm not talking about the past Manchester United, even the nowadays Manchester United should do. So they have to win. First at Southampton for sure. They have to win. They have to get 3 points. Maybe a draw against Crystal Palace will be enough. 4 points in 2 games. That's not too bad, but. A draw against Southampton, a draw against Crystal Palace could be the end of Mr. Ten Hag.
Let's start by talking about tomorrow night's match, which sees Bournemouth up against Chelsea. It's live and exclusive on TalkSport 8 p.m. Cookie, you caught up with the Bournemouth camp, is that right?
I did. Looking forward to this game. Actually, obviously, Bournemouth had that dramatic late comeback win against Everton before the international break. I saw them against Newcastle, was really impressed. And they've made a record signing this summer in the form of the Brazilian striker, Evan Nilsson, £40 million he cost them from Porto. Now, in Portugal, they compare him to one Diego Costa, former Chelsea player. So I asked the Bournemouth manager, Andoni Iraola, about those comparisons.
I can understand the comparison. Not everything is the same, but I can understand the comparisons. Yes, I think he shows a very good spirit. I think he gave us everything, and we cannot ask much more. No?
I'll tell you what, I can see the comparisons as well. I've only seen him once against Newcastle, but he's a bit of an old school centre forward, the opposite to Benty really. He puts himself around, he's not afraid of a little bit of physicality. I think he's going to be fun to watch.
I don't know what to say to that.
I don't know if that's an inside.
He didn't score on his debut, did he?
No, he didn't, no.
Yeah, you're right. It's opposite to me.
Yeah. I think this is a real tough one to call. Bournemouth, they haven't lost yet. Of course, I'm just looking at Chelsea now. Their season, we're only 3 games in, as inconsistent as they've been all of last season. 1-1 draw, 1 and lost 1. This is at Bournemouth, as I mentioned. How do you see this one going quickly?
I think it might be a score or draw. I think there's definitely goals in it because Chelsea scored 6 on their last away game, but I think defensively they're vulnerable. Keep an eye on Antoine Semenyo. I think he's had, if not the most shots in the Premier League this season, and maybe the second most, and I think he's got a really big year ahead.
I think Bournemouth may struggle to keep hold of him. I think from what I've seen from him last season and certainly this season, the way he carries the ball, he can manipulate the ball, creates chances, he's quick. I've been really impressed with him.
Yeah, I have as well, and again, it's a good advert for the pyramid, not just him, but Alex Scott, who's there as well. Bournemouth have raided the Championship to good effect.
All right, Cookie, we'll move on, shall we? Let's talk about the mighty Brentford, as Dan would say. They travel to Man City tomorrow. It's live and exclusive on TalkSport 2 at 3 p.m. You spoke to Thomas Frank before the international break. What did he have to say?
I did. I spoke to him after Brentford had demolished Southampton 3-0. Ivan Toney was there. A bit unusual, really, watching from the stands. He went into the dressing room afterwards. Of course, he left the club officially for Saudi Arabia 24 hours earlier on deadline day, but both Mbeumo and Wissa were good in that game. And I asked Thomas Frank how they're going to cope without him.
Of course, we miss him as a person, as a player, but it's part of football. You know, players move on, other grows and get more air, and they can get better and real. How can we maximize their potential? We saw it last year that we started well, where Ivan was banned, with Brian and Wissa and Kevin. Unfortunately, Kevin got injured in September. Brian, I think, early December. Until then, we were very, very lively and a big threat, and we just continue that.
There you go, Thomas Frank then, pretty confident Brentford will cope without Tony. That they've made a habit, haven't they, of selling their star centre-forward. I do wonder if he keeps playing as well as he is at the moment, if Brian and Bournemouth might be the next one who gets a bit of interest from elsewhere.
I think potentially, because I do think that Ivan Toney, I think long-term they'll miss him. I've got no doubts about that because he's got that little bit of X-factor. I think short-term, I think Wissa and Mbeumo definitely can kind of hold up their end. But I'm not quite sure how consistent in terms of in front of goal those two can be for a full season. So that'd be one I would be a little bit concerned about.
Cookie, let me ask you about, you mentioned that how Brentford get on without Ivan Toney. Could Man City be getting on without Haaland? Because I understand that he's currently on compassionate leave. Someone close to him, member of the family, has sadly passed away. We don't know yet if he's going to be in this squad. Is that right?
No, it was his dad's best mate who's also had a big influence on Erling Haaland's career. So really sad situation. I think Pep Guardiola today said that he would leave the decision to Haaland. I've got a sneaky suspicion. I think he might play and maybe try and pay tribute by doing what he does best really and scoring some goals. So yeah, really difficult situation. I'm sure if he does play and he scores, there might be some kind of special celebration.
Yeah. A quick prediction from both of you. Let's say he does play Haaland, Man City against Brentford. Live and exclusive on TalkSport 2 at 3 p.m. What would score be, Cookie?
3-1 to Man City.
Benty?
4-0.
Okay, 2. Over now to Liverpool. They host Nottingham Forest tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Cookie, who have you caught up with from the Liverpool camp?
100% record, no goals conceded, pretty smooth for Arne Slot so far. And I think one of the stars of the season to this point, maybe unexpectedly, is Ryan Gravenberch, and I spoke to him after the win at United, not just about his form, but about Mo Salah and whether that new haircut is making a difference to his performances.
I think last season he did it as well, so I don't think it's the haircut, but he's like a really good player.
It's no secret he's only got a year left on his contract. I take it it's a given that you all want him to stay and extend and sign a new deal.
Yeah, if you see him today as well, he's a really good player. It's really good for the club, but at the end it's the decision by himself. But if it's me, I want to, that most thing.
No surprise, Ryan Gravenberch wants Mo Salah to stay. I mean, I joke about the haircut. I think it's probably more that Mo Salah got a summer off like Haaland did, and I don't think it's a coincidence those two have started the season on fire.
Yeah, I mean, Salah looks hungry as ever, sharp. Not just his work rates in terms of getting on the final ball and trying to score goals, but defensive work as well. But I do give a lot of credit to Arne Slot as well, because he's not tried to change too much too quickly. He's almost understood the situation, that he's got a good team of players there, that he doesn't need to tweak too much, and slowly but surely I think he'll start to implement his ideas. But for now, I've been impressed with him and impressed with Salah.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit different. I would say they're a little bit less chaotic than they were under Jurgen Klopp and that rock and roll football. It feels a little bit more controlled so far this season.
What will the score be? Liverpool taking on Nottingham Forest tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Benty?
3-1 Liverpool.
Okay, Quickie?
2-0 Liverpool, another clean sheet for the home side.
All right. Who's your favourites for the title, Cookie, by the way?
I tipped Arsenal at the start of the season. But obviously City with Haaland in the form he is won't be underestimated. We'll see what happens with the FFP situation. But I think Liverpool are going to be closer than a lot of people thought as well. I think it's a 3-horse race.
I agree. Finally, let's speak about Southampton, who host Manchester United live and exclusive on TalkSport tomorrow lunchtime at 12:30. Cookie, who have you been speaking to from the Saints camp?
Well, this is a big game for both teams, isn't it? Because Erik ten Hag already is bang under pressure. Russell Martin has lost 3 out of 3. Our own Danny Murphy has said that if they keep playing the way they are, in terms of the style, they'll go down. Russell reacted to that yesterday. But he told me that Adam Lallana, Benty's former teammate with England, is a fan and an advocate of the way that Russell Martin does things.
Adam Lallana just spoke to the group in there and about the first year at Brighton when they tried to change the way they played and how much he believes in what we're doing in the group and some of the stuff we've done over the 3 games, but the frustration is we haven't picked up any points. So, and I think for us, less is more. We're complicating it a little bit, and the intention's to try and help your teammates so much. But and I love that about the group. But we have to really drill down on a few bits that are going to help us, because in the 3 games we've had enough moments for the players to feel that they can really do it in this league.
There you go, Russell Martin won't change his playing style. Do you agree with Danny Murphy, Benty, that if they don't, Southampton could well end up going straight back down?
100%, because they're causing their own problems. I mean, it's hard enough to win games in the Premier League as it is when you're a newly promoted side. The last thing you need to do is be giving the other team a leg up in every single game that you play in. So, and I said it earlier, Cricket, I believe now with these managers that are coming in with their philosophies, it's not about can they keep that club that they're currently at in the Premier League. It's about their next job. So if their philosophy on football is playing out from the back and all this really pretty football and it looks great, clubs will be looking at that thinking, well, boy, if we bring Russell Martin to our club with better players, it could work. So I almost think that won't last all season. I don't think that Russell Martin and Southampton combination.
Crookie, just a very quick word about Erik ten Hag. Man United have only lost twice so far this season, a major record. How big a game is this one for Erik tomorrow if Manchester United lose it?
I think it's massive. 3 successive defeats, especially away from home against a team who hadn't got a point on the board. I think his critics are going to be out in force. Actually, I think this next period between now and the October international break, United have got 7 games, I think, in 22 days in various different competitions. They start their European campaign. I think he needs results between now and the October international break, or he could find himself in real trouble.
TalkSport Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the TalkSport app and on your smart speaker. TalkSport.
Southampton take on Manchester United, and Kwaku has just dropped a bombshell off camera. I'm in disbelief. Kind of agree though. Kwaku, please tell us what you just said.
See, over the last couple of weeks, I've had Man United fans getting onto me, and you set me up for them to go onto me yet again. I think Bruno Fernandes, with the ability, in terms of the pure ability with the ball at his feet, I think he's one of the best players in the Premier League. But I don't think in the modern Premier League that a team can win a league title with Bruno Fernandes being your best player. I just don't think it's possible. I think some of the decisions that he makes in crucial situations means that Manchester United are a worse team for it. He's still their best player overall. I think mainly will probably take that title in a season or two. But I think Bruno Fernandes gives you so much in terms of output, or used to give you so much in terms of output. If you look at his numbers over the last season and a half, it's not as prolific as it was when his first couple of seasons at United. I just think some of his decision makings in such a crucial area of the pitch means that Manchester United are limited in what they can do, and they can't control games as well as teams like Liverpool or Man City. That's not like denigrating Bruno Fernandes. He's such a good player and he's done so much for Manchester United over the last 3, 4, 5 seasons. But in terms of trying to challenge for the top honours, which they should be doing, rather than glorifying winning an FA Cup and League Cup like Ten Hag's been doing over the last couple of weeks, Bruno Fernandes cannot be your star man.
I think Bruno's a symptom of the problem, not the problem itself. I think it must be very frustrating for him, with all the ability he has, playing alongside these players who on the large part will be paid more than him. They're brought in, he gets excited about them, they were fantastic at other clubs, and then they come in and they just can't perform to his level or the level that they were playing at before. I think he is right to be very frustrated, and I know what you mean. There's a lot of like Hollywood passes, there's a lot of like pop shots from the edge of the area. That's a symptom of being the best player in a team. Yeah. We saw Jack Grealish do that at Aston Villa. Now he doesn't do that because he's in a system that works for him, and that's what's happening with Bruno. I think it's unfair to say that you can't win something with him in the team. If you replace Kevin De Bruyne with Bruno Fernandes this season, City probably still go on to win the league.
Yeah, I don't know about that, bro. That's I think that's actually a crazier shout than what Kwaku just said, because I also think Bruno Fernandes' technical ability is probably unrivaled in the league. In terms of if he's got the ball and it's bouncing, he can hit a half volley pass cleaner than anyone else. Do anything with the ball. Like, yeah, his technique is unbelievable. But I think when you switch things like temperament, like De Bruyne's temperament in a game is so nailed on. De Bruyne's not trying to play a 56-yard pass on the halfway line at 0-0, 84th minute. He knows in the Premier League, I think that's the key thing. In the Premier League, there's a time and a place to do certain things.
But he didn't know that at Chelsea when he was managed poorly by Mourinho.
Yeah, but
he knows it now. He knows it now.
So many years on, though.
Yeah, but he knows it now when he's managed by the best manager in the world. I think Bruno, just like all the other Man United players, are just terribly mismanaged.
What I give him credit for is the fact that there's been Manchester United players that have come and gone over the last 5 or 6 or 7 years. He's the only one that's come and actually been a success, wholeheartedly, in terms of coming in and delivering and over-delivering in terms of what people's expectations were for you as a player. I just think that when you look at him, he'd probably benefit from a tempo setter in that team. And when you look at this Manchester United team, they haven't got a tempo setter. Mainu's great, and he's great at covering, not necessarily great at covering ground, but he's a great box-to-box midfielder who's technically very, very sound. but he's not a tempo setter. Neither's Casemiro. So Bruno's being asked to do a lot of things that are not within his wheelhouse. I don't know why I was watching it, the full game replay of Manchester United versus Spurs in the League Cup final 2009. It was a game that 0-0 went to...
You have way too much time on your hands, bro.
Game 0-0 went to penalties, but I was watching Paul Scholes very carefully because there's a referendum about Paul Scholes was like, is he actually or was he actually that good? He was a tempo setter, and it allowed Manchester United players like Cristiano Ronaldo, who lost the ball maybe about 15, 16 times that game, but he could try things because he knew he had that tempo setter to dictate the pace of the game. Manchester United haven't got that. So when Bruno Fernandes does try those things, it looks 10 times worse because they haven't got anybody to reel him back in when things aren't going well. And so I think you are right in terms of the symptom or him not being the cause of the problem at Manchester United, but it's a fact. He plays the way he plays, and Manchester United are not great as a result of him not being the kind of player that they need to control games.
I think you take him out of the team, and what you're left with, they perform much worse, and they finish much lower in the league.
Yeah.
They're a very, very average team with a very average manager, and they've got individual bits of brilliance which allow them to win the FA Cup. And a lot of those moments, more often than not over the last few years, have come from Bruno.
That's where I think this situation for them becomes really interesting, because they go to Southampton, and honestly, with no disrespect to Southampton, there's a lot of players on this side that are struggling to handle it. Currently in the Premier League, may change. Also a new manager, as a new manager in the Premier League, who's also learning the ropes as well. And United, sounds crazy to say this, but they have to win this game. If they hand Southampton this win, it speaks to what you're saying about Ten Hag. We've spoken about this many, many times. Like, how much longer does Ten Hag stay in the job? Because Southampton so far this season have been very drab. They can't score goals. They struggle in the final third. They struggle to keep clean sheets.
They're terrible defensively. They've conceded the most goals in terms of errors leading to goals in the Premier League, 4, only ahead of Manchester United, who conceded 3 as a result of it. So 2 defences that have been struggling this season. There needs to be a conversation though about progressive managers, and we talked about it a little bit off air, in terms of, is it self-serving or is it football principle? Because you look at a manager like Russell Martin, who's played his football when he was at Swansea, carried this to Southampton, played very progressive football in the Championship. But then you look at a manager like Vincent Kompany, who played progressive football to the point where Burnley got relegated and refuses to change the style of football, but he ends up getting the Bayern Munich job. Look at Enzo Maresca in the Championship playing progressive football, but when it went downhill in the mid part of the season, Leicester fans were crying out for him to change the style of football, but he didn't. Leicester managed to get promoted, but Leicester fans weren't crying when he left. He got the Chelsea job. And so I think we're in an era of football right now where managers are not self-serving, but they're going to stick to their football principles because they know that can maybe get them a job further down the line. I don't think, despite the fact that Southampton have been so poor defensively and playing out the back, he's not going to change for anybody because he knows that maybe 2 or 3 years' time, he's going to maybe get a job that serves him a lot more than serving Southampton in terms of staying in the Premier League.
And this is exactly what we were speaking about off air. And like, obviously, there's been that trend going around about Barclaysmen, and there's a whole nostalgia for like the Barclays era of the Premier League, where they were like exciting, flashier footballers. I get really, really frustrated, and it's only been 3 games, and I don't want to be too harsh on Russell Martin. I get really frustrated with managers like him and Vincent Kompany. It doesn't work for your quality of player. There's no disrespect in it at all. You are trying to follow the guidelines and the principles of Johan Cruyff, who had one of the best teams in the world, of Pep Guardiola, who has one of the best teams of the world, and you don't have the players for that. And you're, as you say, it's very self-serving. You're forgetting the fact that there are people here in that crowd, in the 30,000, who earn minimum wage, spend half of their money following your team up and down the country, and you're refusing to be pragmatic. You're refusing to give them any joy because you're self-serving in a way that you want, like, your portfolio to reflect something that it isn't. And the players that they have, you can't be passing it out from the back. It doesn't seem to make any sense.
But is it not incumbent on the board or the hierarchy at a football club to then make that change? Because he changed his style of football, they might still lose games and he might not get a job again. I look at a manager like Gary O'Neill. He does play relatively progressive football, but he lost his job at Bournemouth for a manager in Iraola who plays even more progressive football. And so I feel like football's going in a certain direction. The only manager in the Premier League right now who doesn't play progressive football is Sean Dyche, and he's still losing games. And so I think these managers are sticking to their principles because they know they're probably going to get the sack anyway. And if they do get the sack, at least they can go upwards as opposed to dropping down again.
But there's a difference with Sean Dyche and Russell Martin. You can be as progressive as you want and you can play nice football and that can be your build-up play. But at some point, you have to realise that it's just self-sabotage. We saw it with Burnley last year. They would actually dominate games and they'd end up losing 4-0 because the keeper would just pass it to the striker every time. It's not a sensible way to play football. You can still stick to your principles and have some pragmatism, but it seems like pragmatic football is just not in anymore.
But in a weird way, like we're talking about Southampton having principles. United don't have principles, and we've debated about this so many times over. So in a lot of ways, like both of what you're saying is correct. Like having principles can potentially work. Not having principles can also flop. Like there's literally no way to win because United will go into this game, and I've got the stats in front of me here. They've conceded 4.3 XG this season, which is more than Leicester, Wolves, and Fulham. They're averaging 11 shots per game. It's the 4th worst in the league. This is a team without principle that are potentially trying to do a little bit of everything to try and become successful. Ain't working for them either.
Well, I'll push back a little bit. I think Ten Hag is trying to instill principles, but he's changed his principles, and that's why I lost a little bit of respect for him. In his first season, it was firefighting. The game against Brentford, game against Brighton, showed him that he couldn't play the style of football that he wanted to play. They still got the results. They finished 3rd and won the trophy, but it was very much counter-attack, and we sit deep and hit in the counter-attack, and Marcus Rashford is going to put away most of his chances. In his second season, last year, no style of play. I didn't see it, and it was terrible, but they still managed to win a trophy. But now he's talking about being the best transition team in the world, talking about counter-pressing and winning the ball higher up in the pitch, but we're not seeing it. And so I feel like he would have been better. The Ajax Erik ten Hag that we saw, who was dominating possession and was still fairly counter-pressing in his approach, but it was more about retaining possession and dominating possession. I think I would respect him more, and I think he'd probably be in a better place in terms of the perception of him if he stuck to his principles. The fact that he's flip-flopped through 3 or 4 different philosophies doesn't stand in a great stead. We knew what Jurgen Klopp wanted to do when he came to the Premier League, and he didn't move off that. We know what Pep Guardiola wants to do. Ten Hag's not been that.
So who annoys you more? Vincent Kompany sticking to his principles, Ten Hag being flexible with them?
God, that's a difficult question. No, the sticking to the principles when you don't have the players, I think, is what has contributed to a lot of us maybe losing a bit of love of watching certain Premier League games. Yeah. I know like we get kind of gaslit sometimes into saying, oh, it's just nostalgia, but there were certain games that just were more fun to watch, and I think everyone is trying to be the same thing now, and I don't think that it's working for the lesser teams, and I don't think that they should stick with it. With Ten Hag, completely agree with what you say. He had a principle. He bought players to fit into that principle, and then changed his principle with players who fit the old principle. It's a completely ridiculous way of running a football club, and now he's just kind of throwing more cash at it. I don't think he still has figured out exactly how he wants to play. I don't think when you look at that 11 or when you look at the squad, they're players who you would necessarily put together if you were building a team that actually works around each other. So both annoying.
Can I ask you a question real quick before we wrap it up? If Ten Hag loses this game, what happens? Does he get sacked?
No, we were just chatting about this before. I think they'll keep going because you can't, like, there's a few things to this. They tried to find a manager, didn't work. I think Gary Neville and Carragher are having an argument over this, but it was very clear that they tried to find someone to replace Ten Hag. They couldn't find someone to replace Ten Hag, so they kept Ten Hag. And now they're in a situation, they're giving him a new contract, they've spent loads of money, and I think that's the cycle that United can't afford to get into, is get another manager in halfway through the season who goes, Mazraoui's not my guy, De Ligt's not my guy, Rashford's not my guy, Xerxes not my guy, and now you're back in the cycle again. But the other counter side to that is, if they're 14th in the league, he's gone, because they can't be that low either.
If they play like they have done the last 3 games, he's gone by Christmas. They'll probably have an interim manager until the end of the season, and the merry-go-round will just continue after next season.
I do think that when you look at teams that have been successful in terms of changing manager, big teams, if they are going to make the change, Christmas is probably the right time. That's when Liverpool made the change, when they got rid of Brendan Rodgers, brought in Jurgen Klopp, wrote off that season and said, find out what you like, what you don't like, and we'll go again the following year. Arsenal did the same with Arteta, sacked Emery around Christmas time, and that gave them that season like as a free hit. They won the FA Cup, but they finished 8th, and then he had the next season to go again. So if they are to get rid of Ten Hag, I think around Christmas time is probably the right time to do it.
All right, who's winning this? Is it Mr. Principal or Mr. Flexi Time Principal?
Oh my God, tough one to call.
Kim's not watching this. I'm
not watching. I'll just be filled with rage the whole time. I think United probably will have too much quality in the end for Southampton. I think we spoke about this when we were discussing Ipswich at the beginning of this season. I think you need a really strong forward line and a really strong couple of centre-backs to stay in the Premier League when you've just come back. I don't really see that in Southampton. I can't imagine them staying in the league, and I can't imagine them beating a lot of the teams, particularly like teams with a lot of quality. I don't expect United to put on a masterful team performance, but I think a few individual moments of brilliance from their good players will be enough. I reckon about 2-0 to United.
I will go next. I remember the game at St Mary's where United won 1-0 and Bruno Fernandes scored. I'm pretty sure on that day United were absolutely awful and Bruno scored a goal that was just a piece of magic. I think it'll be a repeat of that. I think United will win 2-0 as well, or maybe 1-0. I don't see Southampton scoring at all. which is crazy to say because United cannot defend.
United can't defend. That's why I think they will concede, but I think they'll just have a little bit too much Southampton. It won't be pretty, but they'll get the result, and I think they'll win 2-1.
So the headline for your article on ESPN.com is Man United's summer business is a sign of a brighter future. Is that what the article is all about? Having already read it, I'm going to give it to you. There's a lot of issues right now at Man United, but the headline writer has gone for the positivity aspect. What's it about?
Well, that's certainly what Man United will hope people view the transfer window as, that it's the sign that it's going to be a brighter future at Old Trafford. I mean, we've done this show a lot of times before where we've talked about doom and gloom and you know, it's not all rosy at Old Trafford, definitely not. United will tell you, though, that the way that they've conducted this summer transfer window has been positive. They got the signings in that they wanted. They tried to bring in younger players as opposed to those deals for older players like Casemiro and Varane and Ronaldo that we've seen in the past. So they tried to sign younger players in this window. They tried to stick to valuations of those players. You know, they're conscious in the past that they've been made to pay perhaps over the odds for players. I'm thinking of players like Anthony from Ajax a couple of years ago. This year, this summer, they've tried to stick with their valuations. So they will tell you that this summer has been a positive step forward. Really, the article is about what happened during the summer, how they arrived at some of the decisions that they did, how they conducted their summer businesses, how it was different perhaps to years gone by. The problem is with transfer windows is that you never know how great they are until you're looking at it through the rearview mirror in a year or 2 years' time, because we've been here again where we've been talking about Man United, about how great they've been at signing this particular player, or this particular player is the final piece of the jigsaw, and that player hasn't worked out. So on the face of it right now, just in terms of that summer window, it does look positive. It's whether we look back in a year's time and go, all those 5 players were successful. That's really the key for Man United, that we have to be able to look back at this window in a year's time and say that was a success, because it's all well and good saying it now. You know, the truth of the matter is that we really don't know until they start performing on the pitch.
Jack, we're going to look at Southampton against Manchester United shortly, but 1 win and 2 defeats. The win was on the opening day, subsequently 2 defeats, 14th in the table. With the business now done in the transfer window, should Man United fans be panicking as much as everyone else seems to be looking at them and go, oh, they're in trouble?
Yes, I should. And wow, listen, I get the point about the transfer business this summer. Coming out of the transfer window, I thought Manchester United got the players that they wanted, got the players that they needed. But then, to Rob's point, looking at the season so far, albeit in a shorter rearview mirror, it's been disappointing. That 1 win came the 87th minute Zirkzee effort against Fulham. And then 2 defeats. But more concerningly, just kind of given how new this season is, the performances simply have not been great. So we are talking about a Manchester United who, by all accounts, are happy with their transfer window. I thought they did good business in the transfer window, but then come up in this must-win game against newly promoted Southampton. I mean, that kind of details how poor it's been so far. And sadly, that is totally reflective, again, on a manager who we finished last season with questions about. They win the FA Cup, and then, despite Manchester United's effort, don't replace him and try to convince everybody that he's the right man for the job. And 3 games in, you have a relegation 6-pointer, it almost feels like. And we're talking about Manchester United and a newly promoted Southampton here.
So now we turn to the deciding vote, Dallin Cuff. We've heard from the defence, we've heard from the prosecution. Xhaka described the game on Saturday morning as a must-win for United. So are we back to where we were with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, that a must-win and a win becomes everything's fine until the next one, or a loss in a must-win becomes papering over the cracks, end of days? Where are we? Which side of the fence are you on here, Dallin?
I don't like to operate in hyperbole, but I think you're kind of right there in the situation that he's in. Now, we said off air a minute ago, like, I feel like it's been almost his Erik ten Hag's entire tenure here that we've been week in and week out analyzing them, questioning them, wondering what the hell's going on. To Rob's article, very well written article, and yes, they may be really excited about where the future is going, and you read the quotes from all these different executives there that they feel good about where they did what they did this summer. That was relative to what was before, which was a hot mess. I mean, there were so many signings, huge money spent, guys over the hill, things that don't make sense. What's the strategy? What's the plan? Okay, you may have a strategy to plan now in the boardroom. On the field, I'm not sure I still see a strategy and plan with Erik ten Hag, what he wants to do with this team. And that is the biggest issue here. And that's where you find yourself right now. And I always talk about the odds on this show. I would like to know historically, and I might ask somebody at Stats and Information. We got a great group here at ESPN. The last time United had only been a minus 135 favorite to win at a newly promoted side that is winless on the season 3 games in and has scored a goal. Like it just hasn't ever happened. Like that. This is where Man United is right now. That is actually a decent price. If you think I can't back them, but if you want to lay a little juice, that's not bad for a team that should, on paper, be able to beat Southampton on the road. I can't believe in this team because every time you think you know what's going to happen, it goes the other way. And I've faded United now for about the last 6-7 months. I've rarely backed them in terms of betting them. I liked Brighton Hove earlier this year. Obviously got bailed out with a straight up win in the 95th minute. That was nice. But this is the situation this team is in. It seems like week to week it is a must win. And you play Southampton on the road. I believe Palace is next up on the road. So it could go from worse to worse. Now, if you get 2 wins, it takes a little pressure off you. But if you lose this game to a team that's newly promoted, and where they're at right now, that'd be 3 losses in 4 games. They currently sit 7th favorite by most books to even get in the top 4. That seems highly unlikely. This is what United is. Can they get in the top 4? Can they contend against newly promoted teams? Not are we contending for championships. That's well in the rear view. So the future may be bright in the boardroom, but it feels like doom and gloom here on the road.
Well, I mean, you've got to see both sides of the story here. They've come in, Jim Ratcliffe and his team, and they basically said, spending too much money there. Got to get house in order here. That is certainly going, and it's going to take time. I understand that. But Rob, as Shaka said, if this is a must-win, you cover the Manchester beat for ESPN. If Man United don't win in the early game at Southampton, newly promoted Southampton, what's your week going to be like covering Manchester United?
A nightmare, frankly, and that's where we're at. If they don't win against Southampton, I'm not suggesting that on Monday morning Erik ten Hag is going to get sacked, but he will be under serious pressure. The pressure is already there anyway from what happened last season. You know, even though they won the FA Cup, they finished 8th in the Premier League. That's just not good enough. The pressure is on again now because they've lost 2 of the first 3 games. They've been well beaten by Liverpool in a home game, which, you know, under usual circumstances would be completely unacceptable. But, you know, we're at a period with Man United now where these results happen. They've still lost 2 of the first 3 games. The next 4 games are Southampton, Barnsley, Crystal Palace and FC20 in the Europa League. He needs to win all of those 4 games, I would suggest, to start evening the balance out with the pressure he's under. He's got 7 games now between the end of this international break and the start of the October international break. You know, in England, the international breaks, because there's a little bit of a break in the domestic schedule, they become windows of opportunity if the club want to make a change with the manager. So he's got 7 games now before that October international break. He really needs a run of positive results if he's going to turn this around. The problem is that there are an awful lot of Man United fans, given what happened last season, who thought that he should have been sacked in the summer. They could understand why the club stuck with him a little bit in that we won the FA Cup. But the pressure hasn't really ever gone away. And it feels like it's just cranking up week after week after week. And he needs to relieve some of that pressure. Not only does he have to beat Southampton tomorrow, they have to play well. They need a performance to show that they are going in the right direction, that the strategy that Erik ten Hag is putting on the pitch is going to work long term. Because I would suggest that even if they were to win another scrappy game with an 87th minute winner against Southampton, that probably wouldn't be enough for a lot of fans. He needs performances and he needs results, and he needs them very, very quickly.
You spoke to him in his pre-game press conference. Did you get any knowledge or any details about potential team news? Does Ugarte start? Is he involved? What about Casemiro? Transfer window in Turkey shut, I think, or just about to shut. It certainly shuts today. He's been linked with Galatasaray. What did you get from Ten Hag's press conference?
Yeah, I mean, his big decision is whether it's Casemiro or Ugarte. They're the two ones that you really need to decide between. It was interesting actually that Ugarte's obviously been with Uruguay in the international break. He didn't get back to Carrington until Thursday afternoon. You know, Ten Hag was talking about him, and everyone in the room was kind of thinking, well, he's kind of building up to saying, well, he's just not ready. He's only got back on Thursday. He's just not going to be ready in time to play on Saturday. But then finished his answer with, so he could be available to make his debut. Now, that kind of suggests to me that he is going to play, probably because he just can't, or he feels like he can't play Casemiro after what happened against Liverpool. They obviously had to take him off at half-time after making 2 mistakes. Casemiro hasn't been away with the internationals. He had a week's holiday and then came back to Carrington early. So in terms of freshness, Casemiro is your guy to start against Southampton. But they've just paid £50 million for Manuel Ugarte from PSG. You would think he's going to be the guy as a number 6 long term. It's whether Ten Hag feels that he's going to be fresh enough after those, after playing for Uruguay in the international break, whether he's going to be fresh enough to play against Southampton, because he can't afford to get any of these decisions wrong. He's in this place now where every single decision is being scrutinised, and he can't afford to get any of them wrong. So it's whether he feels Casemiro is in a place after what happened at Liverpool to play well against Southampton, or whether he just thinks Casemiro has to sit this one out. Ugarte, whether he perhaps isn't as fresh as Casemiro, but is going to have to play. That really is the big decision he's got to make before the Southampton game.
Prediction time. I want to start with you, Shaka, because there can't be too many teams that have won twice as much at the opposition ground than they have since they last beat the team at home. Putting that into context, 2003 was the last time Southampton beat Manchester United. Since then, they've won twice at Old Trafford. Does the wait continue for a Southampton home win? What do you reckon?
I think the wait continues for Southampton. And that's primarily because Manchester United cannot lose this game. And as we said, I just don't see how they do. So in terms of predictions, I'm going to go 2-0 for Manchester United. The result will be enough for Ten Hag. Whether the performance is enough for some of his doubters, I'm not sure. But surely, Manchester United can't lose this. Can't even draw this. Surely not.
31st of August 2003, James Beattie did that after he scored a very late goal to give Southampton the winner. Dallin, what do you reckon as far as the odds are concerned? Do you think Man United are a bit of value? You've already said that, but what do you think will happen?
Yeah, I think that's the play. I said I'm not going to back them, but at a decent price, you have some juice. And to Shaq's point, we all say it, they can't lose the game. Yeah, they could find a way to lose the game, but I just don't think it's likely to happen. So, and it's just a difference. If their opponent was playing better, I mean, Southampton has really struggled out of the gate. 1 goal in 3 matches. Had not been particularly potent. Russell Martin's got his own issues in terms of pressure on him right now too. So it's not a good situation for the Saints either. So I would back, in terms of this pick, United probably 1-0, maybe 2-0. I don't think we're going to see a ton of goals in this game, but the bettors do. The over/under there at 2.5 minus 180 to go over. I don't know about that. We'll see. But I think it'll be a tight one. To Shaq's point, not sure the performance is great. United, though, gets the 3 points that they desperately need.
And Rob, before we get to your prediction, it's a fixture that's seen Southampton come close on 3 specific occasions. In 2012, they were leading 2-1 after 87 minutes and screwed up, lost 3-2. In December 2018, they were 2-0 up and again couldn't win. And then in 2020, behind closed doors due to COVID, they were 2-0 up again, but then they collapsed with 3 second-half United goals. So how do you think this game will go?
Well, it was interesting. Dallin said in his first answer earlier in the show that he doesn't bet on Man United because you don't know what you're going to get, and that's exactly where you're at. They could win 3-0, they could lose 3-0. It could be any result in between. Man United are that unpredictable. They're that inconsistent. So really, you just don't know. You don't know what you're going to get. Fans don't know what they're going to get. I would tend to agree with Shaka that I'm going to back United to win just because they simply cannot lose. It's impossible for United to carry on really with a lot of faith in Ten Hag if they lose this game. So I'm going to err on the side of caution and back United. I think they're going to scrape through 2-1.
That's because you want an easy week next week.
I do want. That's exactly what I want. Please.
Hello, Tall James. What do you think will happen between Spurs and Arsenal tomorrow before we hear from the respective coaches?
Well, okay, easy one to start. Look, I mean, I think it's obviously a very competitive game in that I think had Arsenal suffered the injuries that they had during the international break and before it, I think they would have been clear favourites for this game. But I think losing Odegaard is I mean, Arteta's sort of playing coy about whether he's going to be fit or not. All the noises we're hearing are that he's not going to be available for that game. So I think that's a significant blow for them because he's the kind of player that they can't really replace. You could argue Bukayo Saka, William Saliba, maybe slightly more important, but I just think Odegaard knits it all together in a way that they don't have another player who can do that, particularly when they've sold Emil Smith-Rowe, probably would have been a logical replacement, and also Fabio Vieira's out on loan is another one who could have come into that central position. So I think it maybe just slightly tilts the balance more 50-50 than it being in Arsenal's favour. But I mean, I'm going to sit on the fence here and say it's a draw. That's going to be my prediction at the end of this. But I would have had Arsenal to win this game had they not suffered those injuries. And obviously the Declan Rice suspension is another big issue for them in midfield.
Sure. Plenty to talk about in this game. Of course, it's Sunday, not Saturday. Southampton, Man Utd's the early game on Saturday. So let's hear what Ange Postecoglou and Mikel Arteta have been talking about to James before this one.
I'm really happy, really excitement. I think it shows the alignment between the club and myself and the coaching staff, that we are in this journey together, that we enjoy working together, that we have much higher ambitions, that we want to fulfill them. So that's the way that I look at it, and as I said, really pleased and grateful as well.
Yeah, I think consistency in approach and mentality. I think in the last, you've seen them in the last 2 years in particular, that they've just had a real relentlessness about them. They haven't had to change their team too much. They've been, there's a solid core there that have sort of carried them through the last 2 years, and I think that gives you belief over time. So I think in every game they feel like they can win. I think they have this confidence in themselves now that they can challenge over a course of a Premier League season, which I think that more than anything else allows you to kind of build momentum season to season, where you can do it over a whole course of a season. They have the last 2 years. Their form over the last 2 years in totality has been outstanding. So they're going to be a tough nut to crack, but a great opportunity for us to do that.
We need some more tests, so let's see what happens in the next day or so, this afternoon probably, and see what happens, what is the extent of the injury, and how quickly we can get him back. He's super positive about everything. We know Martin, he wants to be there every single day, but we have to wait and see.
Okay, plenty to get to here. We'll touch on Mikel Arteta's new contract shortly, but James, you were asking the questions, and when it was with regards to Odegaard, I want to give you a quote from the Norwegian national team doctor, Ole Sand, who basically said that he's going to be out for at least 3 weeks, yet Mikel Arteta isn't ruling him out for Sunday. How does that work?
It's what he does. It's what Arteta does, particularly before the big games. He has been, how do we put this diplomatically, coy about his team selection and team availability in the past. I mean, I'll give you a recent example. He told us that pretty much everyone was available before the international break, and then after the game, it turned out that Gabby Jesus had done an injury in training on the Thursday. Well, that press conference to preview that game was on the Friday, so we already knew that he was injured, but he told us that everybody was available. So this is the kind of thing that you're dealing with. It's very, very different actually to Postecoglou, because if you watch that Postecoglou presser today, I was at Mikel's at a very similar time, so I couldn't get to both, but Postecoglou starts his team news by sort of saying, well, Solanke's been training with us this week, he's okay. Van de Ven's been training with us this week, he's okay. Sarr probably out, Richarlison's definitely out. And then you listen to Arteta and he says, I'm not sure about Odegaard, even though the guy was literally on crutches 2 days ago. And also he's sort of suggesting that Calafiori might be available. And my information there is that there is absolutely no chance that Calafiori is going to be fit for that game. And from what I'm told from the sources that I speak to around Odegaard, I think they feel it's extremely unlikely that he would be involved against Spurs. And as the Norway doctor suggests, that it might be 2 or 3 weeks. The only thing to say about, as the guys will know about, ankle injuries is they can look very bad, and then after a couple of days when the swelling goes down and the scans are repeated, it can look a lot better, and maybe someone can get back quicker than originally thought. But I would be stunned if Odegaard played on Sunday.
Shaka, without Odegaard and Declan Rice suspended, how do Arsenal look as far as their style of play might differ from normal?
I'm not sure, and I think that's a big question. I mean, we had a probable lineup on the FC show last night, and we had Partey and Jorginho as the midfielders filling in, just given the injuries that Arsenal are currently dealing with. And with the greatest respect, as good players as they both are, just two of them together against a high-pressing Spurs team, high-tempo Spurs team, I'll be concerned. I'll be concerned about whether they've got the legs, whether they've got the pace to cope with what Postecoglou's sides look like. And that for me is the big question. How do Arsenal, kind of given how good their midfield always is, how their midfield dictates the games, and James is right, Odegaard is a big part of that. I'm not sure how they cope. Had this been somebody else, had this been a lesser team, I probably wouldn't have the concerns that I do about Arsenal for this particular one. And then further to that point, and while Declan Rice is just a one-game suspension, Odegaard, do you chance it at all? If even there is a chance, despite what everybody else is saying, you've got Champions League to come in midweek, you've got Manchester City next weekend. Do you chance Odegaard given those games? I think right now you don't even take that chance, regardless of what Mikel Arteta may want to suggest.
Okay, Dallin, let's take a look at the potential Arsenal lineup, middle to front. Is it a case of simply dropping Kai Havertz back alongside Partey and Jorginho, or whoever he goes, and putting in Gabriel Jesus, who it looks like will be available, or Leandro Trossard, with Martinelli on the left and Saka on the right? Or do you think he's got something else in mind?
Before we show the lineup, I do want to make sure we're clear on this, guys. So this was the shirt I'm actually wearing today. That's what I was really wearing. But I'm a professional, so I changed my shirt, all right? I'm not LME. I changed my shirt for the show. So everything I say prediction-wise, you can take that maybe with a grain of salt. I am a gooner, if you will. All right, in terms of the lineup, yes, I do think that's the safe choice, is to put Partey and Jorginho. It might look more like a 4-2-3-1, drop Havertz there and play that way if you're on the road. Typically, as Shaq just said, the press that they're going to see and the pace at which it's going to be played, it's concerning. If you wanted to get creative, you could do things different. If you remember, Saka did play in the midfield, kind of a 10 position 3-4 years ago, kind of we came into the team at times. You could do something like, you could do that. He loves Sterling. We know that. He's been really excited to have Sterling there, and throw him into the mix too. And maybe leave Havertz up top. It's a number of different options he can have, but we don't know what it's going to look like. I think the safest is what we already said, Jorginho, Partey, and then you put Havertz kind of in front of them in kind of a 4-2-3-1 setup initially. What I'm concerned about is what Shaq just touched on. Last year, this is the most critical week of the season early on, and may set the tempo in two different competitions. This is 3 straight road games against your rival. You got to go to Atlanta in the middle of the week in Champions League, and then you have City at the weekend. This is the worst time to have this happen. Now, in Declan Rice's position, that was just stupid, and that he will be back in the team, but that was a dumb mistake. For Odegaard, I think he is their most important guy. James, you touched on Saliba. Absolutely critical, and last year he logged, I think, every single minute. So, they were fortunate in last year to have him. But we saw when Saliba wasn't available 2 years ago, how this team changes. That's a problem. He's huge. But Odegaard's still the heart and soul of this team. He is their captain. He kind of unlocks so many different things on the offensive side of the ball for them and makes them kind of be who they are going forward. So without him in the lineup, which he didn't have that problem last year, he played almost every match. Declan Rice started all but one match last year. They were very fortunate in terms of injuries to make that charge and to challenge City. That has already proven to not be the case right now. We're forgetting Mikel Merino's not available either. If he was, he'd be in the lineup too. We wouldn't be talking. He would be starting in the middle of the park. So they've had the injury bug. I think he goes with a safe bet. That's why I think you may not see as many goals as the prognosticators in the betting lines assume in this match, because especially on the road, under Arteta the last 2 years, Arsenal's had a great road defensive record. And that is where this team is strongest right now with their injuries, is their back line, is their solidity. and Raya playing very well, whether with his hands or his feet, holding everything down. So I think this team is really stout back to from the back. We'll see what happens in the midfield where the game could be won and lost. We'll see, but I don't think there's going to be a ton of goals because this is going to be a little bit of a different game.
Yeah, we'll check the odds later towards the prediction. We'll run over a little bit. Hopefully that's okay with the producers. If you see a black screen, then you know it's not, but it's nothing to do with us. By the way, a quick quiz question for James, but it involves Dallin showing and holding up a bit of show and tell what you've just done with the jersey. Can you do that again?
Go, baby. Hey.
There we go.
There we
Right, James.
go.
That jersey and 1986. Why? What have they got in common? Or a similar jersey to that one with a red kind of badge?
Oh, okay. Would this be the last time that Arsenal didn't wear red in this game?
Exactly. It's going to be weird. It's going to be Spurs in white against Arsenal in black with red and yellow and green trim. That's because the Premier League and PGMOL have said there's too much white on the Arsenal kit. Welcome to the world that we live in nowadays, boys and girls. Yes. Anyway, James, Spurs, how different a team are they? Not how much better a team are they, but how different a team are they when they've got Solanke as a focal point in attack?
Well, I mean, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because actually, if you look at the way they've started this season, they've been quite similar to last season in that they've created an awful lot of chances. I think they've had the second most shots so far in the Premier League. Okay, it's only 3 games, but that sort of onus on the attacking intent and the willingness to go and try and make the running home and away wherever they play is still very much there. And Postecoglou was frustrated last season by how profligate they were in front of goal, and I think that's the key reason why they then went and spent £65 million on a centre forward. He's the one who's supposed to solve that problem. Obviously, he's had a bit of an injury to start the season. The news today is that he's trained all week, and again, I'd be very surprised if he didn't start this game, given that training block he's had. Because he's the one that's got to go and make the difference. He's the one that's got to go and translate that dominance in terms of possession and territorial advantage onto the score sheet, which Spurs have not.
What he'll do.
A danger here because I'm going to put you on the spot. Have you watched a lot of Southampton since they returned to the Premier League?
I haven't seen a huge amount of them, but I think what we're going to get from them today is a magnificent atmosphere. The crowd's filling up now, the stadium's filling up now. They're going to be up for it. They've not had a great start. I know Russell Martin quite well and the way that he likes to play football. They're not going to be route one. They're going to play out from the back. And I think it's going to be easy on the eye. They've got some really talented players, and now it's sort of their opportunity to make that step up from fantastic Championship players into Premier League players.
Well, you mentioned that style of play, and I mean, we've been here for a while now. I've spoken to some Southampton fans that are dotted around the ground. And there are those that would maybe rather he was, let's say, more pragmatic in his approach, but he absolutely won't change, will he? He wants his team to play out from the back, and he wants a particular style and brand of football. Vincent Kompany did it last year at Burnley. It got him to Bayern Munich, but it took Burnley back to the Championship.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Russell Martin won't change. He's got a way of playing. He done it when he was at MK Dons. He's done it here at Southampton. It's a really sort of playing out from the back, expansive style of football. And if it comes off, it looks absolutely brilliant. If Manchester United can get the press right today, I think they could be left open on the transition and we could get a lot of chances.
Do you expect this to be a high-scoring game?
I hope it's going to be a high-scoring game, sorry, but we've not seen a huge amount of goals this season from either team, but hopefully this will be the day and Manchester United score more goals than Southampton.
We've talked about it already, but in terms of people's feeling, like the emotion and the connection to your football club, how important is a win today to get people feeling confident? Because the defeats to Liverpool and Brighton were upsetting.
Yeah, wins breed confidence, don't they? That's the game. No matter how they come, we all want to see a brilliant performance today, but the result is the most important thing, and we need to start putting a run of results together, because that's what Manchester United is. It's a winning football club that hasn't been this so far this season. We need to start getting some points on the board, start climbing the table and start challenging again.
So over there in the corner behind us, the players are all warming up. When you're doing this, what's going through your head? Some of them won't have played here before. Southampton haven't been in the league for a year. Are you looking around, you taking it all in, or are you just focused on what you've got to do in the game? Are you thinking about your opponent?
Yeah, I think it's just your chance to get focused. People take their warm-up in different ways. Some people are really clued in, some are more sort of relaxed about it, but I think it is a case of taking in the atmosphere. Obviously, over by the United fans will be making a lot of noise later, and it's a case of getting focused, getting ready for the game.
I spoke to Erik ten Hag and asked him what he's hoping to see from his team today. He didn't give a lot away. He just said we want a good performance, but if not, we still want to win. What do you expect us to play like? What kind of performance do you think he's hoping his team gives?
I think we're looking for a positive start. The team's obviously not full of confidence at the moment because of the results we've had, but the only way you can get that confidence back is by winning games of football. So I don't think the performance is the be-all and end-all today. Like Eric said in your interview with him, the results are the main thing. He really wants us to play well. Everyone does, but I think to get a win today, it just starts a little bit of momentum, and we can keep getting them wins, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. I think wins will improve the performance because confidence comes from winning games.
Another player we haven't talked about a lot, but who is new, of course, is Joshua Zirkzee. Mentioned him earlier because of how unlucky he was. The ball hit his knee and the goal didn't stand against Brighton. Are you impressed with how he plays? Because he's a very different player to Rasmus Højlund and a traditional, say, number 9. I mean, he describes himself as a 9.5.
Yeah, he's a very technically gifted player. He's obviously got off to a great start, scoring a winning goal at Old Trafford that was, of course, endearing to the home fans. And I think he's done well enough. Like you say, it was such an unlucky moment against Brighton where if Garnacho puts it anywhere else, it's a goal and we'd probably go on and win the game. After that, it's been a struggle to get the ball into him in areas where he can sort of make things happen. It's been a little bit stagnated in our build-up, and I think it's also getting to know the players. He's got 2 wonderful passes of the ball in Eriksen and in Fernandes today that you would hope will get the ball into him, get the ball out wide, get the ball into the box where he can really make things happen.
Okay. Now, we've talked about how difficult it's been for United to have a steady back four because people have been getting so many injuries. But one player hasn't. That, of course, is Diogo Dalot, and we can hear from him right now.
The start to the season, how would you react to those first 3 matches now you've had a little bit of time away and come back to it?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've been here for a while now, and I know that every season that you start, the expectation is always high, really high. And I felt it again this season. I know that when you come to especially to the first game of the Premier League, and you win it, people will start feeling, oh, this might be the year, this might be the thing, this is it now. And when you analyze really calmly and cold, I can feel that this can be a good season for the club. And then you ask me, okay, but you lost the last 2 games of the Premier League, and I said, okay, but I've been here for a while, and I know the feeling around the club. I know what we are doing in training. Things will pay off, hopefully. But obviously, we still have a lot of work to do. That's for sure. We still have to win games. That's for sure. But after a start where you win it and then you lose the next 2 games, I think that's the way of you showing a response and showing okay, now we are doing the things right, but we need results. And I think that's the way we are doing now. We are doing the things right. We are training well. We want more. We want to show people that we deserve more. But then you have to show results. And I think that's the next step. The next step that we need to take.
I'll ask you about that next step in a moment. But just to home in on something that you said, what gives you that strong belief that this season will be different despite the start?
It's when you do things right. I mean, I'm a strong believer on routines, energy, surrounding yourself with people that have the same mindset as you. Obviously, it's going to be really difficult to have 25, 30 players that are acting the same way. It's not to say impossible, but if the majority of the group is in one direction, if we know where we want to go, I think it's going to be a start. And I'm feeling it. I feel that we want the same thing. We have to show it more, but I think in the start is there. So the engine is starting. But then, you know, a football season is a marathon. It's 7, 8 really long months, 10 months that you have to work really hard and know that this is an everyday struggle and everyday fight. It's not, these 2 games will not define what we're going to do for the rest of the season, but it will show us that we already lost 6 points, and that's the the cool thing about football. The past is the past, but it shows us that we already have 2 steps more to give that we didn't give in the last 2 games.
What do you think's been wrong in those 2 games?
Not scoring goals, conceding.
Simple as that?
Simple as that. I think sometimes it's more. I think the intention is there. You can analyze the game against Liverpool. Obviously, we were too exposed. We lost some passes, but the intention was there to play, to wanting to have the ball. Then against a team like Liverpool, it's going to be really difficult to come back after conceding 2 goals. That's how football it is nowadays. What cannot happen is conceding another goal. So that's the things that you have to analyze, not straightforward the 3-0, you lost 3-0, you didn't have a chance. No, until the first goal of Liverpool, we played well, we found spaces, we could score. That's the things that you have to grab yourself, and not much of the negativity, because the negativity we have to leave for the people that speak about it, for the fans. That's going to be part of football. For us, that's I hear, and actually the guys that will have to perform and actually have to do it on the pitch, we have to focus on the things that we can grab and get better, and what we did wrong is try to improve. I think that's simple as that.
So all these things said, the next step is Southampton at the weekend. How crucial is it that the result is right and you can show the type of things you've been talking about with a very, very positive result and a step forward for what's next being different?
It's a next step. I mean, it can be a little bit cliche, always saying, oh, the next step is the next game, but it is. What's the point of thinking about 2 weeks from now, and you still have a game to play, and if you don't win it, everything will go again, everybody will speak again badly about the club, about the energy. That's the expectation that we'll have always at this club, and we have to deal with. But that demanding is the reason why this club is so big and it's so good, because it's always constantly, every game you play, people expect you to win. And even if we lost 10 games in a row, on the 11th, people will say, you have to win it. So that will be always the demanding of this club. So we go to Southampton now, and we have to win it. I think it's simple as that. But then it comes the hardest part, which it's win that game, because we know it's going to be difficult. We know people, when play against Man Utd, they always want to win as well. So we have to know that.
He's pretty passionate about it, Diogo Dalot. He has become a really, really important player for us, and his standards are high, quite rightly so, Siobhan. So he wants us to score more goals, to carry out what they see on the training pitch more efficiently in a match situation. They know the hard work's being done on the training ground. They just need to now translate that into the Premier League.
Yeah, and that's the difficult part of it. That's what makes you a top player. He's a professional player. He's, as you said, got high standards. He's done really well at Manchester United. He's come in. He's asserted himself as one of the key men for United in the starting 11 regularly. But we've got to see it on the pitch, and you could see like his frustration with the fact that it's not being seen all the time. That's the difficult part. That's what takes you from being a good player to a great player. Can you turn the hard work into results regularly on the pitch in the Premier League?
Just looking at his recent appearance statistics, 50 games in all comps last season, 42 the season before. He's generally available, which is testament to his physical condition, the work he puts in, and his standards have become better and better. There were a few doubters back in the early days about him defensively, wasn't there? Great going forward. Can he tighten up defensively? He seems to have worked hard on that.
He has, and like you said, he has got better and better. At the beginning, I think, listen, there was probably 2 or 3 crosses that went to the back post where he wasn't in the right position, and everybody, gets on it, he can't defend. To me, that's a load of rubbish, but he's worked on it, he's got better, he's very focused now on his defending side, and we all know what he can do going forward. That is one of his best aspects of the game. But defending wise, he's there. I've seen him running back. He looks like he's got quicker to me as well. You know, he watches the runs, he's looking around on the back post, you know, he's in the right position. So I don't think that was ever a problem. Sometimes you just take your eye off the ball a little bit. But you can see now, even the way he is, he knows that we should be doing better, and he's done that himself individually, and you know, it's about putting that to the rest of the team.
And when he's talking about translating the hard work done on the training pitch into the match, how much responsibility is that of the players themselves, not just what the manager instructs them to do?
Once you cross that white line, it's easy to say kind of it's down to the players. The manager can shout a few instructions, but you're on a pitch in front of however many thousand fans there shouting, chanting, making up noise. You're not really going to hear that much that's coming on from the sidelines. It's your responsibility then to take on board the information, the tactics, the technical information that you've been given in the build-up to that game to go out there and implement it. And that's why sometimes those experienced heads, like you've obviously seen Eriksen coming in today, those players that can kind of manipulate the game in a way that it might be coming away from you in a certain direction, they can bring it back in by making those decisions themselves. You might be given a bit of direction pre-game, it might not be going to plan. So you need those experienced players on the pitch to be able to kind of rein it back in, pull it back in and get it to where it needs to be. And it's decision makers on the pitch as well as off the pitch that are really important.
And it is a team game, of course, but individual responsibility within that team unit is vitally important, I'm guessing. Wes, you know that very well.
Yeah, you have to own that yourself. You know, I think first of all, you, as a player, you want to go out there and do your best. And then it's about enjoying it, and then can you help everyone else around you? Can you encourage everyone? You know, if we create an opportunity we miss, next one, boys, let's go. You know, there's no, oh, he's missed. You've got to be all together in it and keep going, understand why you're there. And then with that comes enjoyment, you know, you're enjoying it. That pass, oh, it was good, but, you know, Chris, good ball, we're getting the next one. You know, you just need a lot of energy that goes with the team.
We say this is a winnable fixture. That can be dangerous, can't it? Because we all know in football what can happen, and on any given day, any side can beat any other pretty much. But this is the start of a run of games which, on paper, look winnable. So how vital is it we do start putting back-to-back wins together and really getting on a roll?
Well, consistency. Consistency is the key word for Manchester United, isn't it? You look at the last couple of seasons, the last few seasons, the consistency hasn't been there. Put in a couple of great performances, get a couple of really good results, and then the next one takes you back down. You need that consistency if you're going to compete at the top of the league. If you're going to win trophies, you need to be consistent. So having this opportunity now, after the international break, to come in, have a good run of games. You can't look beyond this game to start with. It's easy to say, just focus on the game, don't look too far ahead. But as a player, win this game. Don't worry about what comes next. Win this game, and then you're on to the next one.
Yeah, because our record against newly promoted sides is very, very good. You're not a big fan of the stats, Wes, I know that, but I'm going to throw this one at you anyway. Yeah, of the last 30 times we've played against a promoted team, we've only lost one. That's a really good record, isn't it? That is a fantastic record. It says here, since a 4-1 loss at Watford in November 2021.
Good stat.
So we generally do the business against these newly promoted sides. Now, obviously, we're clear and heavy favourites to do so, but you still need to manage that well.
Yeah, you do. I mean, listen, like we said, they're at home. They've got some new players playing for the first time. You know, we don't know how that's going to go. They could start off, and like we said, they could be on a worldie, you know, they could be focused, they want to do well. But we've just got to stop all the noise, you know, get the ball, do everything right. Dallo said it there, you know, they've been doing really good things on the training ground, but we just need to bring it into the game. It's simple. Can we just keep creating chances? Okay, we might miss the first few, but then the next one, can we do it? And then eventually, you know, you want that all to click. And normally against your teams that are at the bottom of the table, you can punish them teams, and that's where you start getting your confidence from.
The only reason when I don't like the stats is when you give them the commentator's curse and then they come back to bite you after the final whistle. Let's hope that doesn't happen today. Let's go back to Southampton and get more from Luke and Sam.
We've crept over to the corner now so we can see United warming up behind us. Chatty, you've played here before. talk to us about the pitch, the crowd, the atmosphere. What's it like in the stadium?
Yeah, I think it's always a really, really good atmosphere here. I think looking at the United lads warming up, they're finishing very well. A lot of fantastic goals going on, so hopefully that can continue into the game later. But like I say, fans are building up nicely. I think it's going to be an electric atmosphere, and really looking forward to kick off in around 15 minutes.
Also, conditions-wise, perfect for a game of football, right?
I think you get that. Premier League pitches now, every pitch you play on is more or less perfect. So I think the pitch is going to be fantastic, and we're going to go and get 3 points this afternoon.
All right. There's a few people in the crowd that are shouting at you, but I'm going to ask. I'll start with these ones. How are we feeling about the game?
It's going to be like 9,000.
It's going to be 9,000. Take that, to be fair. Chatty, 9,000? We're all United! Expectations?
I don't know. I'm not bothered. I'm doing. I'm not bothered.
That'll do. Doesn't care. Do you have that as a player? Like that thought of just not really caring as long as you win?
Yeah, I think as a player you always want to put in a good performance, you want to keep your place in the team, but at the end of the day the results are the most important thing. As we said earlier, we can get a win today, it's going to breed some confidence in the squad, and hopefully we can keep that going.
Big win?
Yeah.
Score?
3-0.
Who's going to score first?
Ahmad.
Are you glad he's starting?
Yeah.
Scores all sorts of goals. What's your favourite kind of goal?
Top bins.
Top bins. Chaddy, when you scored goals, did you care how they went in?
Any goal, I'll take any goal. I didn't score a huge amount, so scoring any sort of goal was always an absolute pleasure.
I didn't score huge amounts.
No, I wasn't a heavy goal scorer. But
you played a professional career, you scored plenty of goals.
Yeah, no, but I was used to always...
Future United.
Future United.
Let's do it. A profile, name, position.
Ronnie Meredith.
Best team in the world, aren't they?
Striker.
So in, I don't know, 10 years, we'll be showing this, and everyone will go, there he was in the crowd, now he's playing.
Yeah.
All right, this is ours now, we own it. Thank you very much. It's a great day for kids, isn't it?
Yeah, every game. I'd come and watch Manchester United, see all the fans here, the little lad there wants to be a professional footballer. So we're going to watch his heroes play today. It's such a special time as young people watching football games.
Right, so we're watching now. They're doing some shooting exercises. Bruno and Cristiano and Ahmad are taking free kicks. Diogo's having to go now. Happy with that?
Not a bad finish. Not a bad finish.
For
We're
a
happy
right
with
back.
that one, yeah. You take that all day long.
Who would you want on free kicks today?
I think Bruno will usually take all the majority of the free kicks. Fantastic technique. I've been watching him finishing even in this warm-up here, and he's been absolutely on fire. Fantastic finishing.
There you go, Xerxes having to go. Calm, just very calm. When it comes to Ahmad, I mean, I sort of mentioned it there with the young fan, but he does score so many different types of goals. And he's got a sensational strike on him. Do you think that makes him more dangerous if you were the fullback? Because he...
Yeah, I think
you know what he's gonna do.
Because he plays predominantly on the right-hand side, got such a strong left foot, like the defender doesn't know what to do. Because as a fullback, you don't want him to go on the outside of you and get crosses in, but then that often opens up the space going inside, and that left foot he's got is unbelievable.
Well, hopefully we'll see that in action. Hopefully we'll be back at half-time. That's it from here at St Mary's. Right now, we're going to enjoy all the goals United have scored in the years here.
Nani takes...
that comes with confidence, like I said, and like, we've got to be a little bit smart. You know, if that pass is on, but it's a stupid pass, we don't need to play it. You know, you can easily just still contain the ball in other ways.
In fact, we can seek a bit of solace in the fact that Southampton have made more errors leading to goals than us, with 4 of their goals conceded. And that was really evident, wasn't it, last time out, when it was so clear to see they overplayed out from the back and got caught. Will they be more focused and trying to eradicate that themselves, though?
100% will be, but if you're playing for a manager that just wants you to play out all of the time, you know that that's going to be in your head. And sometimes when you know as a player you'd rather go long, but you know you're being forced to go short by what the manager wants to do, that seed of doubt can reduce the quality of it, and that can cause mistakes in itself. So that's why I think being on the front foot today against Southampton, against the type of players, the type of formation, the type of the style that they want to play, is going to be fruitful for United.
And Ramsdale in goal for Southampton, a good signing for them?
Yeah, definitely.
Joining the keepers' union here,
Yeah,
Wes.
he
We've got to
is a
get
good signing,
goalkeepers' thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, I think he is a good signing for them. He obviously didn't have the best of times last year, was kind of growing into that number 1 position at Arsenal, did well when he was given the opportunities. As a goalkeeper, you know, there's only one position, one place, and if the manager wants to do something slightly different, there's no coming on for 10 minutes here and there and proving yourself. You're in or you're out.
Well, I hope he's a busy boy today anyway, Ramsdale, and we can trouble him on the score sheet a few times. OK, right, we are just about ready to hand over to your commentators, Liam Bradford and Lou Macari. Before we do, though, let's set the scene for the game. It's a big one at St Mary's.
James! Oh, what about that?
Fernandes and Ahmad behind Joshua Zirkzee up front. In terms of Southampton, they've made 4 changes, and they needed to as well because things weren't going their way. We think it'll be a change of system too, so a back 4 for them. Ramsdale in goal, Sugawara at right back, Walker-Peters at left back, Stevens and Bednarek the 2 centre-halves. Ogachukwu and Downs hold the midfield, Dibbling, Brereton, Diaz, Fernandes and Cameron Archer the front 4. Ben Brereton Diaz has been prolific in terms of scoring in the last couple of seasons, but he's yet to win in the Premier League after 17 attempts at doing so. He'll be desperate to find a way to get himself on the score sheet, but more importantly, he'll be desperate for 3 points. I'm not sure it's going to be as straightforward as all that for him today.
No, I don't think it will be. He's done his goal scoring in a lower division, and he's been brilliant at it. You can't get away from the fact, but this is the top league, and you know, our football, probably the top league in the world. He's yet to do it at this level. I'm not so sure he will do it, but they've got faith in him. They've put him in today again, and he's somebody, whether it's in this league or with any other league, you've got to keep an eye on him, because that is his bread and butter, scoring goals.
Erik ten Hag watching on, steely-eyed. He's had a week or so to prepare for this one after the disappointment of Liverpool. He will be absolutely desperate to secure 3 points. Stuart Atwell is the referee for today's game, and Manchester United are ready to go at St Mary's. Southampton too, ready to get started. What do you want to see from this Manchester United side, Lou, early in this game?
Just want to see the intention being there, getting at the opposition, and no disrespect to Southampton, but they're beatable. They've struggled already this season in the opening 3 or 4 games, so there's no reason they shouldn't struggle against Manchester United.
Well, Manchester United have got the game underway. Kobbie Mainoo plays this back to Lisandro Martinez, just on the edge of the centre circle inside his own half in the bright sunshine at St Mary's, shields his eyes and then asks for a little bit of movement from Christian Eriksen. He gets it and then bypasses Eriksen out to the left-hand side. Diogo Dalot standing on the junction of the halfway line and the touchline on the left-hand side, drives forward, ball bouncing, falls to Marcus Rashford, edge of the penalty area. Referee says there is a foul from the Manchester United winger, gives the free kick Southampton's way.
Well, good start from the game, get on the ball, getting forward at every opportunity, and if that continues throughout the 90 minutes with the record Southampton have got already this season, you'd expect us to get a goal or two.
Certainly hope so. Keep Aaron Ramsdale busy picking the ball out of the back of the net would be marvellous. Ball is into midfield from Ramsdale, but won back immediately by Matthijs de Ligt. De Ligt, who had a interesting midweek with or international break with Holland. Dutch media being particularly ruthless with the Manchester United centre-half, unfairly so, I think it's probably fair to say, and he is very much doing his best to keep his head down and his performances up, which is the only answer that you've got when the media start coming for you like that.
He'd better get used to it. He's a Manchester United player now. He could have come to any other club probably in this country and they wouldn't be looking at him as closely as they will do when he's a Manchester United player.
It's a clear foul on Matthijs de Ligt as well, as the ball is launched forward by Southampton. De Ligt just gets barrelled over by Cameron Archer, and the referee immediately blows the whistle to give the free kick to Manchester United, which is taken quickly by Lisandro Martinez. Out it goes to the left-hand side, Diogo Dalot. Brilliant interview from him in the build-up. If you've missed it, get yourself onto the Manchester United website and app to be able to re-watch it. It was really, really good. Ahmad on halfway, comes back to De Ligt. De Ligt, a little bit isolated, has to come back to Andre Onana, who just changes feet before popping it back out to the Dutchman on the right-hand side. Now lofted ball forward to Christian Eriksen, who nods a header into midfield. Directionally not great, though, from Christian Eriksen. Gives the ball back to Southampton, and they're in possession inside their own half. Forward over halfway by the home side, and then De Ligt steps in and makes a clumsy-ish looking challenge, doesn't win the ball, definitely takes the legs of the young midfielder Matheus Fernandes. Free kick to Southampton, taken quickly, ball is on the left-hand side, now rolled back to halfway, shared between the two centre-halves. Jack Stevens has it inside the centre circle, rolls it along the halfway line, out to the right-hand side to find Sugawara. Now back to the goalkeeper, Aaron Ramsdale, and this is where Southampton got themselves into a little bit of bother just before the international break, was this playing out from the back, and you can see that actually Aaron Ramsdale decides to go route one, pings a ball out to the left-hand side, puts too much on it, Manchester United throw.
Well, there's a lot of teams get in trouble with playing it out at the back because they're not capable of doing it. You know, we've got a bunch of players here that are capable of doing it, but I still think, especially here at Old Trafford, the crowd like to see us getting forward quickly, as early as possible, getting forward in numbers, rather than playing the ball along the back.
Well, it's certainly the flavour of the moment, isn't it? Playing the ball out from the back. But as Lou Macari's already pointed out, you've got to be capable of doing that. And I also am a firm advocate for situational awareness. Sometimes just getting rid of it over the top is the right thing to do. Meanwhile, Ben Brereton Diaz scampering down the left-hand side is stopped by solid challenge from Ahmad. Comes back to Leacher, who moves it along to Diogo Dalot. Dalot into midfield. Eriksen, no. Can't get hold of that one, just overruns it ever so slightly, needs to be cut out by Martinez, is cut out by Martinez. Out it comes to Bruno Fernandes for his first touch of the game. Out to the right-hand side, and Ahmad, who just waits for reinforcements, plays it back down the right-hand side. Bruno Fernandes turning away from Ben Brereton Diaz. Finds Kobbie Mainoo. Mainoo, who played well for England in the game against Iceland last Wednesday. comes back. In fact, that was last Saturday, wasn't it? Did well. What we got? Have I got it wrong, Lou? Tell me if I've got it wrong, just tell me I've got it wrong.
No, I'm not going to tell you.
Just mouthing things at me in the commentary box. You can just tell me, I don't mind. Eriksen down the left-hand side. Marcus Rashford picks this up. Edge of the penalty area. Marcus Rashford driving into the box. He took it on, and he's just a little unfortunate, I think, Marcus, that he didn't beat that defender that was waiting there in Jack Stevens. Ball's won back by United. Diogo Dalot high up the field, finds Christian Eriksen, pokes it in field to Kobbie Mainoo. Mainoo just shrugs off the challenge that's coming in from Matheus Fernandes, plays it back to De Ligt, who gets his feet sorted out ahead of Cameron Archer, gets it out to the right-hand side. And Mazraoui, who clearly has his shirt pulled by Ben Brereton Diaz, and the Chilean punished for the shirt pull. Finland. Should have just said it wasn't Iceland, you lemon, Liam. It was the other Scandinavian country that ends in land. That's what you should have said.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Well, yeah, I deserved it.
No, you didn't.
Oh, I did. Can't get things like that.
We all get things a little bit mixed up at times.
Look, what I would say is that
if you watched the game, you wouldn't have forgotten it. No, sorry, you would have forgotten it.
Yeah, no,
it was awful.
That's also true. I also have a difficult relationship with England as a Manchester United fan, and I tell you what, buy me a pint next time you're around, and I'll explain everything to you. This is brought forward by Southampton, but it's a bit of a guileless ball forward, really, and Mazraoui comfortably collects and plays it back to the goalkeeper, Andre Onana. Lisandro Martinez whips a left-footed ball out to the right-hand side, and well, Matthijs de Ligt just thought about a little foray forward there, then just checks himself, and good job that he did. Finds Ahmad, comes back to de Ligt, who is in the right position to receive that ball. And now all the way back with Andre Onana, and Manchester United just trying to find a route through this Southampton side, who are trying to keep the press very, very high. Xerxes closing down on Jan Bednarek. Sugawara. Forward it comes. Diogo Dalot mistimes that challenge, but away goes Dibbling down the right-hand side, and he's got a bit of space here, edge of the penalty area. Tyler Dibbling shifts it onto his left foot effort. Brilliant save from Andre Onana, diving to his right-hand side, paws it away, and manages to get enough on it to keep it clear of Ben Brereton Diaz. Southampton still coming. Corner of the penalty area, left-hand side. Twisting, turning. Carl Walker-Peters throws a step over in there as well, but his cross hits the legs of the waiting Mazraoui, and Manchester United get the ball clear to halfway, but an early sign of just what Tyler Dibbling is capable for on the Southampton right.
Well, it's a brilliant save from Onana. That was heading into the corner of the net. Outstretched hand, touched it, just got a touch to it, and just enough to stop it going in the back of the net. Need to smarten up a little bit though defensively there. We gave that ball away, and all of a sudden Southampton are in the box in large numbers and really should have been 1-0 up.
Yeah, they are quick on the counter-attack, Southampton. Manchester United just going to have to be aware of that situation. Crossfield ball from Southampton from inside their own half to the gap between the touchline and the 18-yard box, picked up by Brereton Diaz. Diaz going to get a ball into the penalty area. De Ligt turns it away, but it's only out as far as the edge of the box and picked up by Flynn Downs. Manchester United just playing with fire in the early stages of this. Across it comes, down the right-hand side to Fernandes. Dibbling, infield ball, edge of the penalty area. Oh, he's wriggled through as well. Eventually cleared away by Matthijs de Ligt. Well, Southampton certainly giving this a go, Lou Macari.
Well, they are, and they're at home, but you'd expect it. But on the previous results, I thought the opening minutes would have been all Manchester United, but they've been pegged back, defending, and I've got to say, not defending too good either.
Sugawara comes back to Jack Stevens. Stevens comes back to Ramsdale, who picks it up 20 yards outside his own penalty area. Manchester United now going to start to press with Bruno Fernandes. Ramsdale goes over the top of that press to find the advancing Sugawara, the right back, Japanese right back, who's midway inside the Manchester United half. Flynn Downs takes over, rolls it back inside his own half, where it's picked up by Stevens, right where the white lines intersect centre circle and halfway line. Downs back to exactly the same spot. Stevens picks it up again, this time rolls it across halfway, and Bednarek tries a little move forward. Finds Ben Brereton Diaz, left-hand side, who tries a lovely inside-out ball, but Andre Onana is quickly off his line, slides in, scoops the ball up ahead of Dibbling, and cuts out any potential danger.
I've just seen her, sorry, William. Just seen that save again from Onana with his right hand. Brilliant save.
Needed to be as well, and he needed to get enough. I think the bit that was really important is that when he got a hand to it, he got enough of a hand to it to keep it clear of the couple of Southampton players that were lurking in the penalty area. Kobbie Mainoo finds Diogo Dalot, gets it back from the Portuguese, little back heel down the line to Christian Eriksen, who just gets caught by Downs. The referee gives the free kick. Ball is with Lisandro Martinez, midway inside the Manchester United half. Martinez forward to Mainoo. Mainoo lets it run across his body, tries to fire a ball up to Bruno Fernandes, gets cut out in midfield, and now it invites Southampton forward again. Ben Brereton Diaz hugging the left touchline, comes back to Ogachukwu, and now all the way back to Stevens. Moved out right to Sugawara. Stevens, Bednarek under pressure from Xerxes. Has to quickly shift the ball out to the left-hand side. Good quick football from Southampton, though, down the left-hand side. Finds Mateus Fernandes. Big tackle goes in from Kobbie Mainoo. He wins the ball, but it's out of play for a Southampton throw. Just a little sloppy from Manchester United there, giving possession away in midfield, Luke.
Not a good start, Liam. Opening 10 minutes have not been what I expected. I thought it would be all United, the team with all the stars, but up to now it's been all Southampton.
Throw in from Southampton into the penalty area, well defended by a combination of Mazraoui and De Ligt. Bruno Fernandes puts in a challenge, steals the balls away, lifted out to Ahmad, who gets it back from Fernandes, then tries to give it back to the Portuguese, but he is skipped past. He thinks the ball's gone out of play. Referee says no, and it's into the penalty area. Real opportunity here for Cameron Archer. Big tackle goes in from Matthijs de Ligt, makes a successful slide challenge, but the clearance is directly back to Ogachukwu, and now Manchester United under pressure again. Shot's going to come in, blocked this time by Christian Eriksen, looping up in the air, still not clear by Manchester United. Across it comes, this time stabbed away by Diogo Dalot into the centre circle, where it's picked up by Stevens, and Southampton are coming again, Luke.
Well, without a doubt, this will be Southampton's best opening spell at home this season. I haven't been at any of the games, Liam, but they've been really up for it in the opening 10 or 11 minutes and pinned Manchester United back.
Martinez is really unhappy with somebody in the Manchester United midfield. He's asking whoever it is, I couldn't see who he was having the conversation with, to drop a little bit deeper to give them an option when they're trying to come out from the back. Manchester United, wearing their blue kit today, are going right to left as we look at the pitch. Xerxes goes down under the challenge from Stevens. He thinks that he's been caught in the side of the head. Referee says nothing doing. Southampton in that traditional red and white striped kit, black shorts, white socks, and they go left to right in the first half. Headed away by Lisandro Martinez. Eriksen hoists a ball into midfield, where he finds Bruno Fernandes, who is quickly swallowed up by Ogachukwu, who looked like he'd fouled the Portuguese, but the referee says no, and Southampton pouring forward again into the penalty area with Ben Brereton Diaz forced out wide by Nus Mazraoui. Back down the line it comes to Walker-Peters, but Manchester United struggling to get a toe on the ball at the minute. Southampton having all of the possession in the last 5 minutes or so. Manchester United somewhat chasing shadows. Slid through ball down the right channel is going to be defended out of play by Diogo Dalot, who just jockeys over the top of the ball, protects it, and allows for the goal kick.
Well, this is not what I expected, Liam. I expected us to be on the front foot, getting forward, having shots at goal. I don't think we've tested Ramsdale yet.
Goal kick is taken short by Lisandro Martinez to Andre Onana, who carries it out to the edge of his 18-yard box before playing it back to Lisandro Martinez, and now out to the left-hand side of Diogo Dalot. One touch into Kobbie Mainoo, finds a lovely slide rule pass to Christian Eriksen. Eriksen flicks it back to Diogo Dalot. Manchester United approaching halfway left-hand side. Dalot infield to Mainoo. Mainoo on the edge of the centre circle, just clips it out to De Ligt, and De Ligt spins on the ball, comes back to Martinez, who fires it between the lines to Christian Eriksen. Eriksen's going to lift this into the path of Bruno Fernandes, who flicks it on once more to Ahmad. Ahmad down towards the corner flag, now attacking the penalty area. Ahmad chops back on his right foot. Is he going to have a go? Pulls it back to Eriksen. Eriksen gets it across. Xerxes! Xerxes' stabbed effort is saved by Ramsdale and turned away. Lovely football from Manchester United. Turned round the corner, slid across the 6-yard box, but Xerxes can't turn it home.
Oh, he should have scored, Liam. 4 yards out. Top up was all that was needed. And he gets a foot to it, not enough pace on the shot. Best opportunity of the game for either side.
Does he go with the wrong foot?
Goes with the wrong foot, without a doubt.
So ball comes from Xerxes' right, and he actually goes with his right foot rather than his left foot. I wonder whether you just increase your potential chances of scoring that if you go with the left boot, whether it's a higher percentage. I mean, I don't know for definite, but he's backed himself with his right foot there and just doesn't get enough on it.
Wrong decision. As soon as he made that decision, after he'd missed it, the cameras panned on to Ruud van Nistelrooy. Are we going to get that all season?
Yeah, of course we are, absolutely. Dutch striker misses opportunity, pan to the Dutch striker that rarely missed an opportunity. Or at least that's what the headlines would have you believe. Xerxes with a lovely ball to Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes is going to get this out to Ahmad. All of a sudden, Manchester United in the penalty area with numbers. Ahmad's going to pull this back to the edge of the penalty area, is he? No, just holds on. Then rolls it across to Diogo Dalot. Dalot tries to get his feet sorted. Out to Marcus Rashford, corner of the penalty area. Overlapping run from Dalot. Great cross from him, but it's turned out for a corner. Well, that's brilliant football from Manchester United. Worked it really well around the edge of the 18-yard box, and they win second prize, a corner.
Yeah, we've had to wait 16 minutes for those two attacks, but we should have been in front, especially the chance that Xerxes had.
Christian Eriksen comes over to take the left wing corner for Manchester United. De Ligt is up. Provide a target in the penalty area, so too Xerxes. I mean, Lisandro Martinez is also in the penalty area too. Just to cause chaos and mayhem. Here comes the delivery, near post, headed away. Only as far as the edge of the penalty area. Mazraoui, who arrived late, hit it on the edge of the D. Side-footed effort was straight down Aaron Ramsdale's throat.
Yeah, unfortunate. It was a side foot right at the goalkeeper. Easy save to make.
He's hit the target, Nus Mazraoui. It's all you can do. Work the keeper from that distance. I tell you what, if that is a yard either side of him, he's struggling a little bit, I think, Ramsdale. Meanwhile, striding forward comes Downs in the opposite direction. Finds Brereton Diaz, wide left-hand side. Back it comes to Bednarek. Fernandes to Stevens. Stevens whips it out to the right-hand side where Sugawara is waiting. And now Dibbling. Stevens. Bednarek. And now all the way out to the left-hand side to find Ben Brereton Diaz under immediate pressure, so has to fire this fully 60 yards back inside his own half to find the waiting Aaron Ramsdale, who collects with the ball at his feet 15 or 20 yards outside the penalty area. Sandro Martinez snapping at the heels of Mateus Fernandes, trying to win that ball back high up the pitch. It's with Southampton on the edge of their own penalty area, now clipped down the right-hand side by the home side. Dibbling comes across. Ahmad thought he might have a sniff of getting on the end of that, but Walker-Peters beats him to it. Gets it further left to Brereton Diaz. The Chilean offloads the ball. Down the left it goes to Walker-Peters. Peters attacking the penalty area here. Goes past two Manchester United defenders. Can he pull it back? Does so, but only finds the waiting Christian Eriksen. Clears the ball away. Ahmad herring into the other half of the pitch. Now he needs some help, and he's going to find it too in Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes into the penalty area. Can he get his feet right? Gets his shot away. Thinks it's taken a big deflection on the way through, and the referee says it has not. It's out for a goal kick, and Bruno Fernandes, under pressure from two Saints defenders, misses the mark.
He's claiming a corner kick, and I think he's entitled to claim it. I thought it did hit a Southampton player, but referee disagrees. Good opportunity as well. It's a breakaway, and
it's a great ball from Haaland.
Yeah,
isn't it?
normally Bruno, when he gets inside the box, would finish by hitting his shot on target. That was way off target.
It's on his left foot, he's coming away from goal and he's got two defenders in front of him. That is not the easiest of chances that you'll see. And a player down in the middle of the pitch here. Referee is just going to have to stop play because it looks like a potential head injury for Nus Mazraoui. He is clutching the back of his head, and that's going to give everybody an opportunity just to have 30 seconds to catch a breath. Just having a look at Ben Brereton Diaz, who, I mean, it's a little bit naughty, isn't it? He's got no eyes to actually win that ball. He's clearly trying to make a collision with Nus Mazraoui, which he does, and wipes out the Moroccan.
Well, you see those challenges in the Championship especially, you see about 10 or 12 a game, but referees in the Premier League have a different view, and certainly the referee there had a different view of it.
Erik ten Hag dishing out instructions. Two players gathered around him on the edge of the technical area. 20 minutes played, Southampton 0, Manchester United 0, Liam Bradford and Lou Macari seeing you through the first 45 minutes here. Best chance of the game has definitely gone to Joshua Zirkzee, who's sliding in, just couldn't quite latch onto the end of the ball that had been put across the 6-yard box. Gets a toe to it, but just not enough to turn it past Aaron Ramsdale. Meanwhile, at the other end, it's a lovely bit of skill, isn't it, from Kyle Walker-Peters that manages to take out Matthijs de Ligt and take out Mazraoui, gets into the penalty area, but the final ball from Walker-Peters not good enough, finds only Christian Eriksen, who can clear the ball away. Back underway, and Brereton Diaz attacking down the left-hand side. Mazraoui still waiting to be allowed back on the pitch, so Kobbie Mainoo has slotted into that left-back position. Southampton attacking down the right. Back it comes. Centre of the Manchester United half with Stevens. Bednarek. Now Kyle Walker-Peters. Still no Mazraoui. Referee asking things to be held on because Southampton are playing the ball down that left-hand side. So he won't allow him to come back on because of where the ball is. And that means that Southampton have got a numbers overload here. Ball comes into the penalty area. Clutched, grabbed and gratefully held by Andre Onana. Well, 30 seconds you've got to stay off the pitch if you've had a head injury. It's the protocol, and then after the 30 seconds were up, of course, because the ball was over on that far side, the referee wouldn't allow Mazraoui back on the field in case he jumped back on and made a tackle. Kobbie Mainoo looks to play a pass forward to Bruno Fernandes, can't complete that one, just crowded out of it. Instead, away it comes to Ben Brereton Diaz. Brereton Diaz pokes the ball forward, smash clear by Lisandro Martinez, with venom as well, by the way, from the little Argentinian. That one was staying cleared.
I've got a feeling, Liam, that Zirkzee chance will be possibly United's best chance of having 90 minutes, because for any centre-forward it was quite easy to put it in the back of the net. Somehow or other, last-minute decision it looked from him to make his mind up what he's going to do with the ball, left foot or right foot.
Oh, there's confusion in the penalty area. Ball into the box, hooked away by Manchester United's Matthijs de Ligt. I'll explain that for you in a second once the ball has gone dead, but it's Southampton still in possession. Mazraoui slides in, puts it away. Well, just a little bit of confusion between Lisandro Martinez and Diogo Dalot. Dalot thought Martinez had gone. Martinez thought Dalot had gone, and it just allowed Southampton to sail into the penalty area. Shot comes in eventually, pretty well defended after a breakdown in communication from Manchester United.
Well, that could have been 1-0, maybe should have been 1-0. Just fell asleep there for a moment or two.
Just a breakdown in communication, really. One of those things that can happen when you've got a... And don't get me wrong, Diogo Dalot has been absolutely fantastic for Manchester United all of last season and at the start of this season, but he is by trade a right fullback, not a left fullback. Ball is down the right-hand side again. Lisandro Martinez comes out to Downs to try and prevent the cross coming into the penalty area. The ball is swung in towards the back post. Mazraoui does brilliantly, sells Ben Brereton Diaz, a bit of a dummy, and allows the ball to run out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, just come back to Dalot there that you mentioned, Liam. Last season I thought he was fantastic. He was playing in that right-back position. Was there a better right-back in the Premier League? Probably not. amazing the difference. Just move him to the other side of the pitch. Certain situations crop up like you saw there, and he just wasn't alert and sharp like he was when he plays at right back.
Well, right-footed, the angles get a little bit different, don't they? And it becomes a little bit trickier. Not like that, but he's been saved by Andre Onana. Just as we're saying it, he tried to play a firm ball back to Andre Onana in the penalty area, and he's just overhit it ever so slightly. Onana's quickly off his line and manages to prevent the corner, but gives away the throw-in, which is taken quickly by Southampton, and the ball is now with Bednarek, Kyle Walker-Peters, and back to Jan Bednarek on the base of the centre circle inside their own half. Ball into the channel is well worked, and now an opportunity for Sugawara down the right-hand side. Pulls the ball across, Kobbie Mainoo slides in, makes a vital interception. Ahmad has to wait for the ball to get to him, and as he does so, gets absolutely clattered, but manages to keep his balance. Clips the ball out to the right-hand side, and Bruno Fernandes. Infield it comes to Kobbie Mainoo. Mainoo immediately met by Ugachukwu, and the referee says, yep, too much this time from the Southampton midfielder. Yellow card comes out, and I think that's probably the correct decision, because that is very clumsy from the Southampton midfielder.
He's a marked man now, Kobbie. He's come into the game. Nobody knew a great deal about him, but when they did see him, I think everyone's taken notice now and realise he's a top player. He can cause you problems if you give him time on the ball. You could be in trouble.
I think that yellow card has gone to Kobbie Mainoo.
I wasn't going to say that, Liam, but that's what I thought.
Why is that?
He touched it with his hand when he fell.
So he hasn't. No, it's not for the clear foul on him in the first place.
I might be wrong. I just saw him after. I saw the replay. I saw it touching his hand.
I'm just checking. It has gone to Kobbie Mainoo, and Lou's right. It is because he's touched it with his hand on the way down. The question is, if the foul is given, that yellow card never happens. And for me, it's a clear foul. Clear foul from Ugachukwu on Kobbie Mainoo. Very a baffling one from Stuart Atwell. Meanwhile, forward comes Southampton down the right-hand side with Tyler Dibbling. Dibbling gets to the byline, is upended by Diogo Dalot. The referee is going to give the free kick against the Portuguese and for Southampton. So a free kick 5 yards from the corner flag.
Yeah, I never saw him last season in the right-back position give away many free kicks in that position. But he's looked a little bit uncomfortable. Being a little bit kind now, he's looked a little bit uncomfortable in the early stages of this game in the left-back position.
I have to say, I do enjoy watching Diogo Dalot. I think he's been a vital cog in this Manchester United machine with all of the injuries that have happened for Manchester United left-backs. I think everybody will feel a little bit more calm when Manchester United left-back situation is relieved by returns from injury. Here comes the delivery from the free kick. Header comes in, it's over the top, but only just, and somehow Ugachukwu hasn't managed to get that on target, because I think he's got a free header on or around the penalty spot, and as he gets up highest, there's nobody anywhere near him, and he just can't direct his header on goal.
Well, I was hoping it wasn't number 26, but it is Ugachukwu, you said, Liam. Unbelievable chance, nobody marking him, should have put the ball in the back of the net, puts it way over the crossbar.
Well, somebody lost their marker in the penalty area, and Matthijs de Ligt looked puzzled when all of a sudden arriving on his shoulder from his blind side was Leslie Ugachukwu. Fortunately for Manchester United, could not direct the header on goal.
Do you not think, Liam, after 28 minutes, the one thing we can say, we look a little bit uncomfortable. Things don't look just correct out there.
This is a Manchester United side that are definitely playing a slightly different system this season, and I think what I would say is that they are getting used to that system. New personnel too sometimes just take a little bit of time to settle, don't they? In the Premier League, it's a very different league to the German league, for example. Ahmad, edge of the penalty area, as a go, takes a big deflection on the way through. That deflection carries it safely into the arms of Aaron Ramsdale. I think when you have those left-backs back, the likes of Luke Shaw and Tyrone Malacia, and I know Malacia has been named in Manchester United's Europa League squad, so there's a good feeling around the club that he won't be a million miles away from making a return, and Luke Shaw is not too far away either. When you've got, you know, your big players back, likes of Rasmus Højlund is available for you, I think everything starts to become a little bit easier when you've got, you know, players playing in their proper positions, competition for places, depth in all of those positions. All of that is absolutely vital, and at the moment Manchester United don't have that.
No, they don't, and it shows on the pitch. It showed in the opening 29 minutes of this game.
Dribbling down the right-hand side, slide tackle from Diogo Dalot. Referee points to the penalty spot, and Diogo Dalot sliding in says, I definitely got the ball. Stuart Atwell, the referee, turns away, points to the penalty spot, and Southampton have the opportunity to take the lead from 12 yards at St Mary's after half an hour of this game. We're taking another look at the replay. Lou.
As soon as he went down, I thought the referee's going to give a penalty. If that was inside the box, Liam, it's a little bit unclear at the moment. But if the tackle is inside the box, which it now looks as if it is, it's a penalty kick. He was so uncomfortable stretching for that ball. Again, wrong side of the pitch.
The only thing that might overturn this penalty is whether the initial contact from the free kick is outside the penalty area, and we haven't been able to tell clearly from the replays whether it is or whether it isn't, and that's what's taken the VAR so long.
There's still hope then, but I'm not so sure. I think the first tackle, it was just inside the box. Oh, he's sending him over to the...
No, I think he's just having a chat with players. So Chris Kavanagh is the video assistant referee. He's being helped out at Stockley Park by Lee Betts.
No, he's been
It is a penalty. Penalty to be taken by Southampton, and Andre Onana has a one-on-one from 12 yards to deal with after half an hour of this game. Well, he has been given a bit of a tricky time, Diogo Dalot, in the opening half hour of this game, and that time, as he slid in to try and win the ball, Dibbling had just got away from him. The contact was clear in the end. It is a penalty, and Manchester United now have to wait and see whether Cameron Archer can score and open and break the deadlock at St Mary's. Archer places the ball down, looks at the referee. The referee's having conversations with everybody on the edge of the penalty area to make sure there is no encroachment. Blows his whistle. Archer, 1, 2, 3 strides back. 2 steps to the side, steps up, strikes, and saved by Andre Onana. Header comes back in, and Andre Onana, the hero for Manchester United, down sharply to his right-hand side to prevent that ball crossing the white line. Brilliant stop from Onana, not a great penalty from Archer. 0-0 the scoreline.
Awful penalty, Liam. In fairness to Onana, you still got to save it. He did, but it was a terrible penalty kick. Easy one to save, no power in the shot. Onana gets down and saves the ball quite easily.
It's just not tucked in the corner enough, is it, from Cameron Archer? And it allows Andre Onana, who guessed the correct direction, to get the ball safely away. As he palmed it back up in the air, the header came back in towards Andre Onana as well, but he did enough to clasp hold of it and snuff out the danger. Ball is with Manchester United, midway inside their own half. Lisandro Martinez. Well, Archer will just be having a moment here, I would imagine. That's one of those that a gilt-edged opportunity against Manchester United at home, 12:30 kickoff, in front of your home fans. You've got an opportunity to score your 3rd goal of the season, and all of a sudden it goes sideways for you.
I didn't think he looked too confident when he was standing with the ball, and then he put it down on the spot, and he stood there and didn't really fill me with confidence. He was going to smash it past the goalkeeper.
Infield ball to Marcus Rashford. Rashford pokes this forward to Xerxes. Xerxes on the charge, gives it back to Marcus Rashford. Back to Josh Xerxes. Xerxes with the effort from distance, it's just wide. Wow, what a lovely flowing move that was from Manchester United. Shared between Xerxes and Rashford down the left. The shot in the end grazes the upright on the way through.
Well, good football from United, good football
it's a
from
great
Xerxes.
save.
Great save from the keeper.
What a save that is from Aaron Ramsdale. Fingertips to turn it round the post. It was heading goalwards. Well, good football from United. Lovely to see those partnerships starting to come to the fore. Marcus Rashford and Josh Xerxes. Rashford put a couple, didn't he, in for Xerxes against Liverpool that he couldn't convert. Corner's taken to Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes steps it up to the back post. Header comes in. It's a goal for Manchester United. And it is new signing Matthijs de Ligt, whose header creeps past Aaron Ramsdale to give Manchester United the lead. Heartbreak one moment for United, conceding the penalty. Delirium the next. They lead by 1-0.
Well, it's a well-taken goal, well-taken corner kick as well. Instead of smashing the ball into the crowded box, it's played back to Bruno Fernandes. He lobs it into an area where there was 3 Manchester United players. I don't think there's a Southampton player in there at the back post. Take your pick. There's three United players. There's 1 Southampton player.
Oh, it's a really good header as well from Matthijs de Ligt.
Yeah.
Ball from Bruno Fernandes, finds de Ligt, and they're queuing up. Lou's absolutely right. Xerxes, Rashford and de Ligt all waiting for it. And it is an acrobatic header from the corner of the 6-yard box from Matthijs de Ligt. And he arrows it into the bottom left-hand corner. Wrong foots Aaron Ramsdale, and it's in the back of the net.
Yeah, it didn't look as if either Liam had enough power in the header, but once it touched the ground, it was past Ramsdale and into the corner of the net.
Well, Bruno Fernandes adds another assist to his ever-growing tally. Matthijs de Ligt is underway for Manchester United. And Southampton have a free kick 25 yards from the Manchester United goal. A little bit more. 30 yards, 35 yards. Russell Martin will be wondering what on earth has just happened. Football is a roller coaster. Awarded a penalty 1 minute, you miss it, and then all of a sudden 2 minutes later Manchester United down the other end and score.
Yeah, well, in the Championship, Liam, you get away with things like that. You know, Southampton, if you look back on their Championship games, probably happened to them 3 out of 5 games, but when you're at the top level of football, you don't get away with it.
Here comes the delivery from Southampton into the penalty area. Dangerous ball headed away by de Ligt, and header in one box from an offensive sense and a header in the box in a defensive sense just 30 seconds later to get the ball clear. Across it comes from Carl Walker-Peters to Tyler Dibling, who has been a very bright spark for Southampton in the opening 37 minutes. Carl Walker-Peters wriggles past Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes gets back and just has a little swipe at that, manages to win the ball. Mazraoui, who is clearly being pulled back by Carl Walker-Peters. The referee's not going to give that free kick. Eriksson gets it into midfield to find Bruno Fernandes. Ahmad retreating, manages to stop that before it goes out of play for a throw. It looked like a clear pullback on Nous Mazraoui from Carl Walker-Peters, but the referee was having absolutely none of it. Long ball forward is cut out by Bednarek. Ahmad just trying to cause problems. Mazraoui is causing problems, finds Rashford, back to Mazraoui, comes back to Rashford. Rashford finds Ahmad. Manchester United just calm everything down. Bruno Fernandes looks to make the challenge in midfield, but it's his opposite Fernandes that comes away with the ball, Matthijs. And now with Stevens, and Stevens looking for a ball forward, just struggles to find that easy ball. Instead finds Lisandro Martinez. Lovely touch from Xerxes. Xerxes with a lovely ball forward has found Ahmad. Ahmad bearing down on the penalty area. Options left and right for Ahmad. Travels through the box, finds Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes sets himself, has a shot, deflected away, pops back out. Fernandes recollects on the edge of the penalty area. Just tries to wriggle between a couple of Southampton defenders, but it's closed down and Southampton have the ball back, and it looked promising just for a moment, didn't it, for Manchester United? Couldn't get the shot on goal.
Well, at last we're seeing action in the end. We wanted to see it, Liam. That Southampton defence standing firm, but I'm not so sure if they're attacked a number of times from now at the end of the match, whether they're not going to concede another goal.
Aaron Ramsdale with the ball on the edge of his own penalty area, rolls a 2-yard pass to the feet of Jack Stevens, who comes back across the 18-yard box to Bednarek. Bednarek forward to Ugachukwu, who will feel that he should have done better with his header in the Manchester United penalty area 2 or 3 minutes before the goal. 1-0 Manchester United lead through Matthijs de Ligt. The ball is with Southampton inside their own half. Bednarek fires one to halfway, and Ben Brereton Diaz, who's found a lovely ball into the channel, and all of a sudden Southampton bearing down on the penalty area. Pull back to Downs on the edge of the box. Downs just loses a footing, can't get his feet right, and it allows Lisandro Martinez to come and make an all-important challenge. And now Manchester United going in the opposite direction. Marcus Rashford on the charge down the right-hand side. Ahmad's going to find him. Rashford in the penalty area. Marcus Rashford sees it saved by Aaron Ramsdale. Well, United did everything right, but Aaron Ramsdale makes an absolute worldie of a save to deny Marcus Rashford.
Well, he certainly denied Marcus Rashford, but I think it's the wrong side. Marcus is taken to easy from that side for the goalkeeper to save it. Across the face of the goals, probably would end up in the back of the net.
Super positive from Marcus Rashford. Really good work between him and Ahmad down the right-hand side. Just what we saw between him and Xerxes down the left-hand side just a couple of moments ago. I'm going to keep it as positive I can, because that was brilliant from Marcus on 2 separate occasions, working with the wingers to get Manchester United into promising positions. Here's the delivery from the corner towards the back post. It was toward de Ligt. It's come all the way through to Ahmad. Ahmad just waiting, rolls it back to Rashford, edge of the penalty area. Rashford tries to make himself a bit of space, gets his shot away and gets his goal as well. Brilliant from Rashford from the edge of the 18-yard box, curled into the bottom right-hand corner, and he's up and running for the season. Magical Marcus for Manchester United, 2-0.
Well, there's no one closed him down, but if you don't close any player down and allow him a shot at goals, it's possibly going to end up in the back of the net. That shot didn't look as if it had enough power to end up in the back of the net, but Southampton defence backed off, didn't close Marcus down, picked his spot right in the corner. No way the goalkeeper is going to save it.
Well, I tell you what, it's de Ligt that just gets out of the way, and he acts as a screen almost, Matthijs de Ligt, and as he gets out of the way, it is perfectly placed into the bottom corner. I'm not sure any keeper's getting to that. Once he's off, he's blindsided by de Ligt. There's no chance that he's getting down to it. It's perfectly positioned from Marcus Rashford. Delighted that he is up and running for the season. He is delighted that he is up and running for the season. And he's been positive in this first half for United. Any real opportunity that United have created, he has had a hand in.
Well, Ramsdale was screaming at his defenders there that they didn't close down quick enough. I think the big difference is he's not at Arsenal anymore, he's at Southampton, and that back four of Southampton certainly looks anything but secure.
Xerxes with a lovely touch to pluck it out of the sky, finds Bruno Fernandes, who thinks about having a go from distance, and as he does so, clatters it into Leslie Ugachukwu, and it takes a big deflection, goes out for another Manchester United corner. And set-piece coach will be watching with eagle eyes. And Russell Martin, who the cameras pan to, will be wondering how on earth this side are 2-0 down, given the start that they made to this game.
Well, the unbelievable thing is that penalty miss has cost them dearly. Instead of being in front against Manchester United, level, then United get in front, and then get a second one there from Marcus.
Ahmad with the right wing corner for Manchester United, going to be delivered left-footed into the penalty area. Here it comes, dug out, whipped into the box, headed away by Jan Bednarek. Comes out as far as Nous Mazraoui. Mazraoui going to play this directly back into the penalty area, all arriving, all of an opportunity. De Ligt for his second of the game, but it's turned away by Aaron Ramsdale. Matthijs de Ligt arriving in the penalty area, smashed left-footed. It was just a speculatively dinked ball into the penalty area. There were 4 United players that could have finished it. In the end, de Ligt sees it saved by Aaron Ramsdale.
We're forgetting about VAR here, Liam, but that may have been disallowed had we scored by VAR, but you're right, there was 4, there might even have been 5 blue shots of Manchester United inside the box and not a Southampton defender in sight.
It was a ball that sort of caught the Southampton back four coming out. They're trying to play the offside trap, but Manchester United have got, I would suggest, at least 3 players that have beaten that offside trap. That looks sore, a knee-on-knee contact for Kobbie Mainoo. Referee has blown the whistle. I think he's given the free kick Southampton's way, but after the whistle had gone, there was a clash between one of the Southampton defenders and Kobbie Mainoo, who's just down and rubbing that left knee. I think he's back to his feet and everything is okay.
You just reminded me there, Liam. I was coming up here and listening to the radio, and it was talking about Kobbie's bookings that he's had. Has he had 2 in each of the last 3 games?
Yeah, he's had it. I think that's with today's yellow card. I think that's a booking in each of the games.
Right. That's one thing I didn't see in his game. You know, that aggression.
I think, yeah, I'm not sure it's necessarily aggression with Kobbie. I think it's the role that he's being asked to do. He's covering an awful lot of ground, isn't he? And he is, I think, as you pointed out already, he is being targeted. Everybody has seen what he's capable of, and sometimes that can go against you. I think the other thing it's to point out is that today's was given because he was pushed over and he's handled the ball on the floor, so it's not necessarily an act of aggression from Kobbie, more an error. He's a wonderful footballer. I absolutely love watching Kobbie Mainoo. Next step in his career is going to be huge for him, having to grow up very quickly in a Premier League that will, as Lou has already pointed out on a couple of occasions, will be targeting him this season because of his success so far. But that's a lovely turn from Kobbie Mainoo. Almost gets Manchester United moving again, but not enough players forward, so it's returned all the way back to Andre Onana on the edge of his 18-yard box, who plays a right-footed pass out to Diogo Dalot on the corner of the penalty area. Dalot whips a right-footed pass across to De Ligt. Mazraoui, infield to Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes under pressure from Downs. There's definitely a foul or 2 in there. Referee says no foul and throw in to Southampton. Manchester United might be feeling a little bit frustrated that they aren't getting an awful lot from Stuart Atwell here. You know you've got to play to the whistle, but there have been a couple of little pushes, pulls that haven't been penalised. Throw-in's taken and it's back with Jan Bednarek, and we are about a minute away from the end of the first half. We are into the second of time added on at the end of this game, at the end of this half. Mazraoui on halfway. Dances past Brereton Diaz, then gets a ball out to the right-hand side. Manchester United looking to keep it moving. Bruno Fernandes, Ahmad sharing the ball between them. Cross it comes to find Martinez. Martinez to De Ligt. De Ligt to Ahmad. Ahmad's going to go back to De Ligt. De Ligt is almost on the edge of his own penalty area, so uses Andre Onana as an extra defender who takes control and fires it out to Diogo Dalot, not without giving Lou Macari and myself a heart attack in the process. Just a slight miscontrol made me and Lou twitch. But it was all fine in the end, we didn't need to worry.
I can't remember seeing Dalot giving away a penalty kick.
No.
Certainly from the right-back position.
He's normally a very clean tackler, Diogo Dalot. On that occasion, just beaten for pace, I think, giving away the free kick against Tyler Dibbling. Andre Onana sweeps the ball out to the right-hand side. De Ligt is going to go long, and he's going to find Ahmad. Ahmad's going to charge towards the penalty area, and very quickly, Aaron Ramsdale off his line smashes the ball out of play for a Manchester United throw.
And then immediately screams at his defence, "Where were you?"
Again, I think that's just clever football from United, actually. It's been better and better as this half has gone on from Erik ten Hag's side, catching Southampton in situations they don't want to be caught in. United just looking after the ball here, keeping hold of possession. They want the half-time whistle where they get to regroup and go again. We are still going at the end of this first half. We are now into the 4th minute of time added on at the end of the first 45 minutes. Lisandro Martinez comes to Diogo Dalot. Dalot slides a pass up to halfway where Bruno Fernandes takes it on right-footed down the left-hand side to Marcus Rashford. Rashford calmly back to Fernandes. Fernandes infield ball to find Kobbie Mainoo. Mainoo wafts a right boot at it and clips it beautifully out to Ahmad on the far side, who again is just taking his time. United looking after the ball. They are definitely looking to play this to the break. They now get that opportunity because the referee Stuart Atwell blows his whistle and it's half-time at St Mary's. Manchester United leading by 2-0. Could have been worse though. Cameron Archer missed a penalty after Diogo Dalot had brought down Tyler Dibbling in the box. Andre Onana with a brilliant save to prevent that from happening, and then just 2 minutes later, Matthijs de Ligt with his first goal for the club and the first goal of the season for him too, heading home from close range, and then Marcus Rashford from the edge of the penalty area curling a right foot beauty into the bottom right hand corner to give Manchester United a 2-0 lead at the break. Lou Macari, decent second half of the first half.
Decent second half of the first half, yeah, that's right. Turning point without a doubt, Liam. The penalty kick, awful penalty. Didn't deserve a goal, was never going to score with it, but then things changed. We got a bit of a break up the other end, got in front, and now we're 2-0 up and looking comfortable.
Lou, thank you very much indeed. We will be back for the second half, and the boys and Siobhan will be back to talk about that first half after the break.
dangerous, but I think that'll obviously do them the world of good to score a goal, fantastic finish, and to go in 2-0 up makes such a difference from being 1-0 up at half time. Obviously really something to defend there, and we saw after we got the second goal, kept attacking, and probably should have been 3 or 4 come the end of the first half.
Well, I might be getting carried away, but fingers crossed in 45 minutes we're doing this again. That's what we'll be talking about, 3 or 4-0. It'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
It would be very, very nice.
It would. Right, let's get you back to the guys in Manchester, and we're going to go take our seats.
Yeah, enjoy the second half, guys. I hope we all will. And in that second half, we might see 1 or 2 changes. There's another poll on the Manchester United app asking you which player you'd like to see first coming on as a sub. And the overwhelming favourite, Wes, is Manuel Ugarte, which is no surprise, really, because we all really want to see the Uruguayan don that United shirt for the first time and get in on the action.
Of course, listen, hopefully we score a few more and he can come in on a nice, comfortable, easy, sort of an easy game and a well-won game. But I think we all want to see what he's going to be like and how he fits in. So if we can get a couple of more, he'd be my choice as well.
Yeah, I think we are all excited to see how he can contribute to the team going forward. And it could, like Wes said, if we can get another goal and put this game to bed, it's a perfect opportunity to give people some action.
It definitely is, and Ugarte is a player that I'm really looking forward to seeing. I'm sure most Manchester United supporters, given the poll results as well, also want to see him out there on the pitch, and hopefully it's a perfect opportunity for him to go out there and get some minutes.
Yeah, second in the poll at the moment is Garnacho, and of course he really excites us anytime he gets onto the pitch. Right, as you can see, players are back out there at St Mary's, so we will hand back to your radio commentators, Liam and Lou.
Thanks very much, Sully. Yeah, welcome back, and Manchester United back out on the field. So too Southampton, and they will be disappointed, I would imagine, that they haven't managed to get anything out of that first half. The penalty miss from Cameron Archer really was the difference. It was the turning point. It was the moment that Manchester United sort of kicked into a higher gear. It really woke them up. And from that point onwards, I'm not sure Southampton had a look in. 8 shots on target for Manchester United in that first 45 minutes, and I would suggest the majority of those came in the final 20 minutes of the half. Lou Macari, they looked dangerous, United, once that penalty save had been made by Andre Onana, and from that point onwards there was really only one team in it.
Yeah, I was a bit concerned leading up to that though, because I thought the away team, we hadn't done a great deal. It's difficult away from home, but this is Manchester United versus Southampton. Then the penalty came and you thought, right, if he scores this, we're in trouble. Missed it. It was an awful penalty. Is he the regular penalty kick?
Yeah, I mean, he's their #1 striker, so...
Right, I was just a little bit surprised. The lad that I've not really heard of, Archer, ending up taking an important penalty kick, because if that goes in the back of the net, well, we've already seen the difference it would have made. Yeah. It would have put the onus on Manchester United to get forward and look for an equaliser.
We are underway in the second half. It's Southampton to get us started, and it's back with Aaron Ramsdale, who launches one forwards, picked up in midfield by Downs, goes back to Bednarek, and then across to Stevenson, now all the way back with Aaron Ramsdale on the edge of his D. So Southampton going right to left in this second period in those red and white striped shirts. Manchester United all in that all blue away kit, excuse me, are going left to right. No changes in personnel. When I get the opportunity, I will talk you through the two sides that are facing off. Manchester United in possession, poke forward to Xerxes, back it comes, but Xerxes' return ball after a tricky pass from Christian Eriksen is intercepted. United win it back. Ahmad down the right hand side, Bruno Fernandes finds Kobbie Mainoo, now back with Nous Mazraoui. So Manchester United have Andre Onana in goal, that back four, Diogo Dalot on the left hand side, Mazraoui on the right, De Ligt, the goal scorer of the first goal, Martinez, the two centre-halves. Mainoo and Eriksen hold the midfield, Rashford, Fernandes, Ahmad and Xerxes the front four, and that has been a pretty movable feast over the course of the first 45 minutes. In terms of the home side, they've got Ramsdale in goal, back four, Sugawara, Stevens, Bednarek and Walker-Peters, Ogachukwu and Downs, the two midfielders, Brereton Diaz on the left, Fernandes dibbling on the right, and Cameron Archer up front for Russell Martin's side. And it is Southampton in possession on halfway as they try and work their way forwards. Being put under some considerable pressure from Manchester United. Rashford makes the tackle out on that left-hand side. He thinks that he's played it against the Southampton player, and the assistant over on that far side agrees. 2 assistant referees today, Konstantin Hatzidakis and Nick Hopton. Over on that far side is Mr. Hatzidakis. Throw in from Manchester United finds Bruno Fernandes, who hoists it high in the air. Mazraoui's going to get there ahead of everybody, takes a cushioned touch, but it just bobbles away from him, and Southampton can recover. Xerxes closing down the goalkeeper here to try and put a bit of pressure on Ramsdale, but Ramsdale is able to get the ball away to the right-hand side, and Southampton are building from the back again. And we mentioned it in the first half, this was where they've got themselves into trouble in the first couple of weeks, and Manchester United, aware of that, are pressing quite high. Ramsdale looks to slide that pass into midfield, does really well to find Downs. Eriksen tries to make a challenge, does make the challenge, but it's a little unorthodox, and Downs immediately back and snapping at his heels. All the way back now with Andre Onana to our left-hand side, inside his own penalty area, rolled out to the left by Lisandro Martinez. Martinez finds Eriksen, and then Martinez wriggles free of a couple of challenges, finds Eriksen again. Eriksen looking to move this ball quickly out to the right-hand side, finds Ahmad. Now Manchester United have got a 4-on-4 situation. Ahmad into the penalty area, finds Mazraoui. Mazraoui looks to have a go, and he probably should have put it across goal, and as he does so, it deflects off the outside of the post and away. And I think that might have been the wrong decision from Nous Mazraoui.
Oh, without a doubt, wrong decision for goal number 3. Gets in the box, nobody putting him under pressure, doesn't really know, I don't think he really knows what to do, whether to square it back across the face of the goals or shoot. He does neither, goes into the side netting.
United thought they had a corner there, but I didn't think it was, and now the referee has decided that it isn't. So here's a goal kick which has been taken quickly. United have left a lot of players high up the field here as they try and turn the ball over, and they've done so. They've turned the ball over inside the Southampton half. De Ligt finds Mazraoui. Mazraoui rolls it out to the right-hand side. Mainu just has the ball played behind him by Ahmad. He was always going to struggle to get there. So requires just a little bit of winning back for the Reds, and they do exactly that. Xerxes, Eriksen forward to Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes has got 5 yards of space around him, uses it to slide in. Ahmad down the right-hand side. Ahmad into the penalty area, looks to get it across towards Mainu, and as he shifts it onto his left foot, in steps Flynn Downs to get the ball away.
Well, it's a better start to the second half than it was in the first half for United. First half they were sitting back, allowing the home side to come at them. Second half is the very opposite, getting forward. 2 good opportunities in the first couple of minutes.
Ball is with Jan Bednarek, just inside his penalty area. Little stabbed ball forward to Agachukwu, who's got Kobe Mainu snapping at his heels, really making life difficult. United are pressing high up the field again, trying to turn this ball over inside the defensive third of Southampton. So many players forward, and now Southampton are struggling, and it was a little back heel that gets incredibly lucky to make it through to Mateus Fernandes, and has actually turned defence into attack here as Diogo Dalot steps back, steps in, wins the free kick. Yes, wins the free kick, and that's the right decision from Stuart Atwood. Gets himself the right side of the attacker there, Diogo Dalot, and then is bundled over, and the referee gives the free kick United's way.
We forgot as well, on the other part of the first 45 minutes that had a real bearing on the game, the missed header from your man Agachukwu. Easy header.
Yeah, unmarked in the penalty area.
Unmarked, headed it way over the crossbar.
Loose ball picked up by Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes finds Eriksen. Eriksen has slid in Marcus Rashford. Rashford edge of the penalty area. Shifts it onto his right foot. Strike wide. Well, I think it's taken a big deflection on the way through from Marcus Rashford. But goodness me, Manchester United were lightning quick on the counter-attack, Lou Macari.
Yeah, and Southampton are backing off, and Marcus starts off, he gets the ball, about 30 yards from goal, and by the time the home side have backed off, he's in the box, has a shot, clips off somebody, corner kick.
It's really good again from Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes' vision to see Marcus Rashford making the run. Rashford with the ability to get the strike away. It looked like it was going to laser into the top right-hand corner, but for the deflection that took it wide. Set piece Manchester United, right wing corner, going to be taken by Christian Eriksen. 2 arms in the air, up steps the Dane to deliver. Lifts it towards the back post, going to be a little bit close to the goalkeeper, I think, who gets tremendously fortunate because he's launched himself at absolutely thin air, Aaron Ramsdale, and then it comes off a header on the way down, and somehow manages to fall directly into his arms. In fact, he saves it with his face, Aaron Ramsdale, as he comes down on top of it, Lou.
And he knew nothing about it at all.
Absolutely nothing.
He was so lucky.
Wow. Some luck is astonishing.
I think one thing with Ramsdale he can be certain of, that life at Southampton, with that defence in front of him, is going to be completely different than it was when he was at Arsenal.
I suppose what Aaron Ramsdale would say is that he's playing every week for Southampton, and that's probably what he wants.
Well,
minutes. Foul from Kobbie Mainoo. Just needs to be a little bit careful, Kobbie, because he's already gone in the book for that handball in the first half. He's just stretched a little there to make the challenge and has definitely committed the foul. Referee not interested at the moment, hasn't had a conversation with Kobbie to say no more of those, so we'll keep an eye on that. Southampton in possession inside their own half. Manchester United with 4 players up and pressing. Downs going to try and turn that into the space behind Diogo Dalot. Dalot up against Dibbling. This time Diogo Dalot gets enough of a body check on him outside of the penalty area to knock him off balance, and Manchester United retain possession. Mainoo, I think Kobbie Mainoo is fouled there as he turns the player, and the referee has decided not to give him the free kick. Kobbie thinks the same. Lou Macari, what did you think?
Well, I was just hoping he wasn't going to appeal to the referee, because, you know, you say one wrong word and you're off, and that's the position he's in at the moment. Interesting to see whether Eric are we thinking about taking him off, putting somebody else in that midfield, just in case, because the manager must feel this is a game won, and unless we do something stupid, we're not going to lose the game.
3 midfield options for Manchester United on the bench in Casemiro, Manuel Ugarte and Toby Collier, who impressed so much during the pre-season tour over in the States, and of course when he came on against Liverpool. Thought he did a really good job in tricky circumstances. United on the break here. Ahmad's going to receive this from Mazraoui. Ahmad edge of the penalty area, looks to chop back onto his left-hand side, gets it across to Xerxes. Xerxes gets it out from underneath his feet, just has to take an extra touch, and as he does so, it allows the Southampton defender in. Ball ends up looping up off Mazraoui and safely into the hands of Aaron Ramsdale.
Well, this is the 4th time in this second half that from the halfway line almost, we've got into the opposition box, made the wrong decision, and the whole move's come to nothing. But the signs are good. The signs are there that second half, they're going at Southampton. You know, more times they go at them, surely another goal number 3's is on its way.
It's a clear pull of the shirt of Diogo Dalot, and that foul has not been given again. When I say clear, I mean Tyler Dibbling has tried to remove the shirt from Diogo Dalot's back, but the referee says there is no free kick to be had. Ahmad had so much success during pre-season and even in the first game of this season, where he's able to cut in from the right-hand side onto that left foot. What I think he's not altogether used to is that overlapping run that comes from Nous Mazraoui. Marcus Rashford is fouled here, and that is just a little bit naughty from Fernandes and Sugawara. So the referee says no, that one is a free kick to Manchester United. That overlapping run from Mazraoui is so powerful, and I'm not sure that Ahmad was aware that the option was there for him.
And another thing, when you're an attacking player away from home, it's a lot more difficult than it is at Old Trafford.
United certainly looking good for their 2-0 lead at the moment. Carried forward by Diogo Dalot. Out to the left-hand side, and Marcus Rashford. Just needs an option here. Rashford finds it in Christian Eriksen. Eriksen's going to play this ball back to Lisandro Martinez inside the Manchester United half. Martinez turns and then dinks one over halfway, and he's found Diogo Dalot on a charging run upfield. Can Diogo Dalot find the pass? Finds Ahmad, edge of the penalty area. Ahmad takes it on the outside, then on the inside. Ahmad with the opportunity, but he's just knocked off balance at the last possible moment, and the ball is squirted out to the right-hand side, where it's picked up by Josh Xerxes. Xerxes to Mainoo. Mainoo to Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes finds Xerxes in the penalty area. Xerxes charges towards goal, gets around his man, pulls it back, can't find a blue shirt inside the penalty area. Comes out to Eriksen. Eriksen finds Ahmad. Ahmad finds Mazraoui. Mazraoui is dispossessed, and Southampton can bring the ball away. And somehow Southampton survive. Then the referee says free kick for Southampton for the challenge on Fernandes, and the yellow card comes out as well for Diogo Dalot.
Well, this team we're playing against, Liam, they can't defend. That's about the 5th time they've allowed us to get the ball, pick the ball up near the halfway line, make ground towards the box, let you get into the box, and Ahmad there, I think he was lost to what decision to make. Should he shoot? Should he take on another defender? And of course he just eventually lost the ball and the move came to nothing. But that's about 5 or 6 attacks now we've had where we should have scored.
Correction, the yellow card has gone to Christian Eriksen for the first foul, where he tries to drag back Mateus Fernandes. Not the second foul, which came in after the fact. Well, a couple of really good opportunities there for Manchester United. That's a clear pull of the shirt on Kobbie Mainoo. The referee doesn't give that one either. And when you watch this back later, if you get the opportunity, just watch Ugachukwu and Kobbie Mainoo, because there have been 4 or 5 occasions in this game where there has been a blatant and clear shirt pull, which by the letter of the law is a yellow card. But we haven't even seen a free kick given, Lou McCarthy.
No, and unfortunately, you know, we may see one of our players going off the pitch. If another one happens, the referee sooner or later has got to pay attention to that. And you know, he's been a little bit inconsistent up to now, the ref. Wouldn't like to see Kobbie leaving the pitch.
We are getting to that point of the game where changes start to happen. I would suggest the substitution window is open, to use an F1 phraseology. Nobody out there ready and waiting just yet for either team. 58 minutes on the clock. Manchester United on the charge down the right-hand side. Ahmad bearing down on the penalty area, slips it through to Bruno Fernandes, who gets absolutely smashed by Stevens in what is the cleanest slide tackle you'll see all day long. Boots the ball out for a Manchester United corner. Well, man, ball, kitchen sink, everything went at that, Luke.
Yeah, but once again, we pick up the ball high up the pitch. We're allowed to run with the ball, get inside the box, and a great tackle, as you've highlighted.
Still, Southampton trying to play out from the back here. They've just about got themselves enough space. One back by Marcus Rashford. Kobbie Mainoo looks to get there. Xerxes does. Finds Christian Eriksen. Eriksen protecting the ball. Gets it away to Lisandro Martinez. Martinez on the edge of the centre circle. Just calms everybody down before Diogo Dalot tries to bend the ball forward. Eriksen, first time ball to Ahmad. Ahmad's got Bruno Fernandes to his right. He's got Mazraoui with him as well. Mazraoui to Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes to Mazraoui. Manchester United just taking their time here to find the right pass into the penalty area. Whipped right by De Ligt to find Fernandes. The Manchester United captain crabbing infield finds Christian Eriksen. Then out to the right-hand side and Ahmad. Ahmad beats a man and then finds Mazraoui. Gets it back from Mazraoui too. Ahmad's into the penalty area to find Xerxes. Xerxes takes a touch. Just trying to set himself. Cleared away as far as Rashford. Rashford from distance! Wow, what a save that is from Aaron Ramsdale. It was dipping and swerving, and Ramsdale just looks shocked at his defenders that he's had to save that. But what a save it is from Aaron Ramsdale.
It's a brilliant save, but you're right, Liam. He looks at his defenders, more or less saying, what are you doing? You're doing nothing. Go and close Rashford down. But once again, they've allowed him to get on the ball, look at the target. He's had a shot. If it hadn't been for a great save from Ramsdale, that was goal number 3.
Short corner, worked well back to Bruno Fernandes from distance. Hammers one goalwards, turned away by Ben Brereton Diaz. Marcus Rashford trying to fight his way through in the penalty area. Can't quite keep that in play, Aaron Ramsdale. And the referee says it's a goal kick. Well, it can't be a goal kick. Otherwise, why would Aaron Ramsdale have chased after it the way that he did? So Aaron Ramsdale has just chased after it to try and keep it in play. Keeps it, thinks that he's kept it in play, hasn't kept it in play, but the referee says it's a goal kick. Explain that to me, Luke.
I can't, because he's made a mistake. And I just don't want Kobbie to disagree with him, or he'll send him off, because it's getting to that stage that...
I mean, it's clear as crystal. Flynn Downs has clearly put the ball out for a corner. Right, triple change coming for Southampton. First of that change is going to be Cameron Archer. So Archer makes way and is going to be replaced by Ross Stewart. Second change for Southampton is going to be Ryan Fraser, I think. And Fernandes makes way. So Mateus Fernandes off the field. Adam Lallana replaces him, and Ryan Fraser is definitely one of these that is coming on here. Maxwell Cornet also coming onto the pitch for Southampton. So we're just trying to unpick the substitutions here. But 4 changes, I think. So Fraser, Lallana, Stewart and Cornet all coming onto the pitch for Southampton. And unusual to see 4 substitutions at once from anybody in the Premier League these days. Ugachukwu is one of those to leave the field. I don't think anybody knows what's going on down there. It is chaos. Tyler Dibbling, I think, has also left the field. And Maxwell Cornet is on. So, we will absolutely clarify all of these very shortly, but the fourth official is having a little bit of a nightmare down there, getting the board ready and various bits and pieces. Feel quite sorry for Gavin Ward. Ben Brereton Diaz also leaves the field. So, I make that Archer, Ugachukwu, Dibbling and Brereton Diaz, who have left the field. On in their place, Stewart, Lallana, Fraser and Maxwell Cornet.
Well, they had to do something, Liam, because the attacking that Manchester United have had in this second half has been non-stop. They're not being closed down, they're not being tracked, they're getting forward. And how it's still 2-0, I don't know, because it should be, well, it should be 3 or 4.
It could be 4 or 5. Lou's absolutely right. It has been all Manchester United in this second half. The big turning point in this game, and Lou's mentioned it already, was the penalty save from Andre Onana. As soon as that penalty was saved, it lit a fire underneath Manchester United, and they have not stopped since, and they have been excellent value for their 2-0 lead, and as we have already mentioned, could easily be more than 2. These Manchester United fans, who again are in fine voice at St Mary's, being given a bit of a shock. Southampton in possession inside their own half. Adam Lallana finds Stevens. Stevens, the captain, looks to get the ball forward to Cornet. Can't find him, so the ball is all the way back with the Southampton defenders. Forward this time by Bednarek. Neat little turn gets Southampton moving forward. This is their first foray into the Manchester United half in the best part of half an hour or so. Ball is on the edge of the penalty area where it's tidied up by Diogo Dalot. Christian Eriksen can't get there, so the ball is back with Southampton. Ball lifted into the penalty area towards Stewart, but headed away by De Ligt. De Ligt thinks he was being held. Acrobatic scissor kick from Diogo Dalot, gets the ball clear and finds Xerxes. Xerxes finds Marcus Rashford. Rashford down the left-hand side, hugging that touchline, whitewash on his boots, attacking Stevens, comes infield to Xerxes. Xerxes now looking for another run of Marcus Rashford. Across it comes to Christian Eriksen. Back it comes to Xerxes. Xerxes is going to work this back into the number 10 position, and everything calms down ever so slightly. Looked for a moment like it was on to be whipped into the penalty area, but United just being careful with possession of the football, and then De Ligt gets a short pass from Ahmad and lets Ahmad know that he needs that to be a little bit firmer. Exactly what you want to see from your big players on the pitch is holding those players around them to the right standards.
Yeah, and in this second half, it's perfectly clear what the method should be. Pick up that ball wherever you pick it up, get yourself forward, move forward. You won't be tracked. The Southampton player just gone down there screaming. Referee's missed it.
It's Mateus Fernandes that's gone down, and he's rubbing his right ankle furiously, stamps on the turf. He's absolutely fine. So Manchester United have stopped because of the yelp from Mateus Fernandes as he went to ground. Turned out there was absolutely nothing wrong with him, which Lou and I probably could have told you.
something wrong with their team though at the moment.
Yeah, dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Southampton at the moment.
It's going to be a long, difficult season for them in the Premier League.
Unless they can find a way to solidify things. They were the Championship's great entertainers last season. Really fun side to watch. Every time I caught them on the telly, I thought they were really entertaining. Ball's been given away by Manchester United, hammered back to Jan Bednarek, who just turns and then plays a short pass into midfield. Downs looking to get past Mainu, can't do so. Mazraoui gets the ball back to Kobbie Mainu. Mainu turning, twisting, is quickly met by Ryan Fraser. Just scoops the ball into the path of the Scotsman, who knocks it out of play for a Manchester United throw-in on halfway on the right-hand side. Mazraoui. Gets the ball into Kobbie Mainu, who cushions this pass to Bruno Fernandes. Ball has gone out of play, apparently, from Fernandes. Right, so Bruno Fernandes has been booked for kicking the ball away, but I'm not sure the referee blew the whistle. So how can you book him for kicking the ball away when he thinks that he's still got the ball in play? I think that's a tremendously harsh yellow card. So he's running down the right-hand side, flag goes up behind him, can't see the linesman, still thinks he's kept it in, smashes across in, then goes in the book, despite the referee not having whistled the ball out of play, Luke.
Well, I think the referee has looked at the linesman who is flagging. You're right, Bruno can't see him flagging because he's got his back to him, and the referee's made the decision that Bruno kicked it away on purpose. No big deal when you're 2-0 up.
You say that, but when he gets the 5 yellow cards and misses a game before Christmas, and one of those yellow cards is totally unjustified, maybe we're thinking slightly differently. Don't mind yellow cards for kicking the ball away, but you've got to let the player know that the play is dead. Bruno Fernandes still thinks he's in there. Manchester United do have possession. Matthijs de Ligt comes back to Lisandro Martinez. Martinez is not going to take any chances at all, and as Stewart approaches him, just lays it off to Andre Onana. Andre Onana, right-footed, drilled ball up towards Josh Zirkzee, brought down by Bruno Fernandes, who knocks a header forward, and then the infield header from Ahmad, not quite as accurate as it could be, but one back by Mazraoui. Bruno Fernandes, back to Mazraoui, on halfway, rolls it inside his own half to De Ligt. De Ligt across to Lisandro Martinez. Kobbie Mainu, Christian Eriksen, Kobbie Mainu. Zirkzee goes back to Diogo Dalot. Rashford, first time ball back to Dalot. Christian Eriksen just feeling the outside of his right boot after that tackle. Forward to Mazraoui, who just has to go into evasion mode as Ryan Fraser approaches him. Just tracks back inside his own half on that right-hand side to find De Ligt. And Manchester United are in let's take all 3 points home mode, I think, Lou Macari.
At the moment, looks good, keeping the ball, not making any mistakes, and when they pick the ball up and go at the Southampton defence, they're looking dangerous every time.
Eriksen just moving a little gingerly. He is just glancing over to the bench. I wonder how long until we see a replacement for Christian Eriksen. Maxwell Cornet has been put into the book for Southampton. Not quite sure what that was for. I'm not sure he knows what that was for, but he has gone into the referee's notebook. Some strange decisions that have taken place in this game, but lovely bit of skill there from Lisandro Martinez to get himself out of trouble. Finds Kobbie Mainu, forward to Marcus Rashford. Rashford dispossessed over on that touchline, but because he's so close to the touchline, is out of play for a Manchester United throw. Right, looks like a triple change coming for Manchester United. And whoever of you decided to have a vote on the Manchester United app a little bit earlier on as to who those changes should be, brilliant from Lisandro Martinez. Slides in, looks like he's going to absolutely smash it away. Evasive action from the Southampton player. He just pops back to his feet and runs the ball clear. Brilliant from Lisandro Martinez. Yeah, whoever decided to have a vote, I can tell you the first substitutions for Manchester United will include Alejandro Garnacho, will include Manuel Ugarte for his Manchester United debut, and looks like it might even include Harry Maguire, all of whom are being readied in the technical area as we speak. Leacher that is making way, who is just struggling a little at the moment, movement-wise. Steps in, makes a great challenge, Lisandro Martinez. And down goes Diogo Dalot under the challenge. That will be a free kick to Manchester United. And Ross Stewart lets out his frustration at the assistant over on that far side, and might be a little bit fortunate that he isn't warned by the referee. First change will be Marcus Rashford, scorer of Manchester United's second goal. And he's played very well today, Marcus. Should be very pleased with himself. Could have even had more than the one that he scored, but for some acrobatics from Aaron Ramsdale. He leaves the field having opened his account for the season. A very good afternoon's work. He will be replaced by Alejandro Garnacho. Fresh blonde trim on top of his head, ready to make an impact at the end of this game. Second change for Manchester United. We'll see Christian Eriksen leave the field, and a debut for the Uruguayan Manuel Ugarte, who applauds Christian Eriksen from the field and makes his bow in a Manchester United shirt. The last of the summer signings from Paris Saint-Germain becomes the 5th Uruguayan to make a Premier League appearance for Manchester United. Answers on a postcard if you can name the other 4. I'll give you the answer to that quiz in around the 80th minute. The other change is Lisandro Martinez, who makes way, and it looks like it's Harry Maguire who comes on to replace him. So a change at centre-half for Manchester United again in the closing stages of a game, but Harry Maguire, who has been a little bit unlucky to lose his place, really, because he was brilliant first 2 or 3 games of the season, wasn't he? Harry Maguire is now on the field with Matthijs de Ligt. Into the thick of it, early doors, Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire goes in the book for kicking the ball away. Sorry. I mean, yeah, he's kicked the ball away. By the letter of the, by the letter of the law, that's a free kick, and it is a yellow card.
He's kicked the ball away,
yeah,
Liam.
There's nothing you can do.
That was silly, Harry.
It's Stonewall.
Yeah.
There's no argument for that one. I've
You're
tried.
looking
I've
for
tried.
one,
I really tried, but I just can't find one.
It's a bit sad when you're protecting Harry Maguire. He's a big enough lad to protect himself.
I'm just a protector. I'd like to look after everybody, Lou. Meanwhile, the ball is loose by the corner flag next to the Southampton penalty area. Bruno Fernandes. Oh, a lovely little bit of trickery from Bruno Fernandes. Gets himself towards the byline. Takes a clip off the Southampton player. Does it? No. Bruno Fernandes can't believe it. He's not going to get the free kick for that one, or the throw-in. Instead, it goes Southampton's way, and Kyle Walker-Peters has it in his left hand.
I'd like to see everyone in a blue strip concentrating on getting a third goal. Liam, just settle things down and make sure the game is won. Because at 2-0, you never know. Southampton haven't been sighted in the second half, but you just never know. They might go forward and nick a goal, and all of a sudden, all the good work that we've done comes to nothing.
We're going to have another substitution here, because Johnny Evans is being ready for Manchester United as the ball is down the right-hand side. Southampton attacking the penalty area. Maxwell Cornet trying to find a route into the penalty area. Can't do so. I thought it was Lisandro Martinez that had made way, actually, for Manchester United, but he is still on the field. So it must have been Ahmad. I've seen anybody else. Didn't see that flag, the board go up. It was Nus Mazraoui. So it's Lisandro Martinez who makes way this time and will be replaced by Johnny Evans, I think, by the sounds of things. So almost all change across that Manchester United back four. The concern, I suppose, here for Manchester United is whether that is a potential injury for Lisandro Martinez, or whether that's just a little bit of fatigue, having played international football in midweek. Let's hope for the second of those two options. So the back four now is Johnny Evans at left back, where he has played for Northern Ireland previously. Harry Maguire inside him at left centre-half. Matthijs de Ligt at right centre-half. And Diogo Dalot at right back for Manchester United. Xerxes in possession for the Reds. Pushes it across goal to Ahmad. Ahmad's got an overlapping run of Diogo Dalot. Dalot lifts it back across goal. Can't quite find the red shirt or a blue shirt. Kobbie Mainoo hammers it back into the penalty area, but he hits the ground first and it loops high into the sky. Aaron Ramsdale plucks it out and bowls it away.
Well, one man that'll be happy with all the changes will be Dalot. Gives him a chance to get to his right side of the pitch, to go forward, and didn't take him long. Picked the ball up there in the last 20 seconds, got forward and contributed to putting pressure on that Southampton defence.
Ahmad, again, sort of starting that opportunity for Manchester United. Just that maybe, if we're being hypercritical, that pass to Diogo Dalot gave Dalot a little bit too much to do. But that's me being hypercritical and Manchester United being 2-0 up. I think difficult situation. It's well defended, and Manuel Ugarte takes his first touch as a Manchester United player. Finds a lovely ball out to Alejandro Garnacho, who is booted up in the air by captain Jack Stevens. Goes rolling across the turf. That is a little bit naughty from the... Oh, he's given him a straight red card. Stevens has gone. Referee has made absolutely certain of that. He sends Jack Stevens off for the foul on Alejandro Garnacho. We're taking another look at it here. Oh, you can understand exactly why the referee has gone for the red card. Looking at it, he's out of control. He's off his feet. His studs are showing. He's lunging. This one should not be overturned by the video assistant referee. That is out of control from the Southampton captain, Jack Stevens.
Well, it won't be overturned, Liam. The sad thing is, Jack Stevens, with the experience he's got, shouldn't be doing that in the halfway line. It was right on the halfway line. Garnacho had a long way to go to get into the danger area, and he lunged at him, and Garnacho went over, rolled over, and left the referee with no intent, with no exception, but to bring out that red card.
I mean, he is off his feet. He's lunging in. It is only one-footed, but the studs are showing, and he makes contact with Alejandro Garnacho at knee level. It's way above the ankle. But by every letter of the law, that is a red card. And I understand that Southampton fans don't agree. I understand that Southampton players don't agree. But for me, they don't get much more clear-cut than that.
No, the referee had no hesitation. Red card come out right away. I didn't notice. Did that go to VAR?
VAR will check every red card decision.
So it's the referee and VAR.
Well, the referee has made the initial decision. The referee has given the red card without the intervention from the video assistant referee. The video assistant referee will then check that the red card is valid and either say, yes, that's absolutely fine, or no, you need to overturn it.
And Liam, he's just come out with a yellow card there.
He's given a yellow card to Russell Martin, the Southampton manager, for over-protesting, or certainly somebody on that bench. It looked like it was Russell Martin, but it could easily have been one of the technical staff that was stood next to Russell Martin that has received the yellow card for a little bit of an over-protest. Matheus Fernandes has made way for Taylor Harwood-Bellis in another substitution for Southampton. United in possession with Johnny Evans. He's like the Benjamin Button of football, isn't he, Johnny Evans? Just keeps going. He's just as good as he ever was. Thoroughly enjoyable seeing him still playing for Manchester United, who are in possession with Harry Maguire, deepest lying player at the moment, comes out to the right, and Matthijs de Ligt, who's had an excellent game for Manchester United, scorer of the opening goal. Was a wonderful screen for the second goal for Manchester United as well. Pass with the outside of the boot for Manuel Ugarte, pushes it out to Johnny Evans. Evans comes back to Maguire. Maguire comes back across to Matthijs de Ligt, and Manchester United enter the Southampton half with Diogo Dalot, who just retreats, finds De Ligt again, and United are just sharing possession out across anybody who is available, with 8 minutes plus stoppages left to go in this game that they lead by 2-0.
Yeah, it's a stroll for them now as well. They're knocking it about. Legs seem to have gone from the Southampton players. There was a little bit of closing down in the first 45 minutes when they could get close to the United players, but that seems to have gone now, and United with the ball at their feet, moving forward slowly, but when they do get upfield and get in that box, they're a problem to the Southampton defence.
Kobbie Mainoo in possession for United, floats it forward towards Xerxes, who does get a header on it, but can't direct it to another United player, instead picked up by Carl Walker-Peters. Sugawara, dispossessed. Alejandro Garnacho, left-hand side, looking to work it towards the penalty area. Good recovery from the Japanese, pokes it out of play. Manchester United have a throw. Taken by Johnny Evans, bouncing ball in front of Kobbie Mainoo, who waits for it to arrive before calmly flipping a 5-yard left-footed pass to Harry Maguire on halfway. Maguire right-footed forward to Kobbie Mainoo, tries to bring it under control and turn, just can't do the first part of that well enough to allow the second part of it. Garnacho closing down, Kobbie Mainoo gets on the end of this. Referee says that is a foul from Alejandro Garnacho, which I can only imagine was a high boot, Lou McGarvey.
Yeah, gave it for a high boot. Garnacho doesn't agree with him.
Be a little harsh, but the referee has given that free kick. Manchester United now to make a bit of a recovery run. Agate keeping some pressure on the ball. Into the penalty area it comes from Southampton, finds only Diogo Dalot. And now Mainoo, who gets shoved to the ground by Downs. And the referee this time gives the free kick for Manchester United. And Kobbie Mainoo has been in the wars over the course of this game. I think Lou pointed out that maybe he will be targeted because of the success that he's had with Manchester United and England over the course of the last 12 months or so. I think that's exactly what's happened from Southampton today.
Start of last season, Liam, very few people had heard of Kobbie, and when he got his game, as a matter of fact, I did one of the early games that he played in, and I asked you what he was all about, and you said he won't disappoint you. You built him up. As a matter of fact, you built him up, and I thought, no, he's not going to deliver everything you just told me, but he did on that day, and since then he's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I've been very fortunate in this job to be able to watch Kobbie come through the academy. He's had so much help and guidance from a brilliant set of coaches all the way through that system, who have turned out not only an excellent footballer but a brilliant human being as well in Kobbie Mainoo. And look, he is rightly the poster boy at the moment for what Nick Cox and that academy are doing. Agate carries the ball out for Manchester United, driving run, just as it nicked away from him last possible moment as he was about to release the pass. But has managed to get the ball back into the Southampton half, as I think they're going to see another change for Manchester United, and that might be the last little bit of time we see Kobbie Mainoo on the field, because it looks like Casemiro is getting himself stripped and ready to go for United. Bednarek floats a right-footed pass crossfield, which is intercepted by Johnny Evans, picked up by Alejandro Garnacho. Slide tackle comes in on Garnacho from Adam Lallana, who barks at the defenders behind him for potentially forcing him into making a challenge like that on Alejandro Garnacho. And we are about to see that change for Manchester United. Erik ten Hag is actually going to substitute Matthijs de Ligt from the field, who scored Manchester United's opening goal, and de Ligt makes way, will be replaced by Casemiro for the final 4 minutes of this game.
Well, a bit of a surprise there, because, you know, in 4 minutes, I know there is only 4 minutes, but Liam, but in 4 minutes things can happen where a player who's on a yellow card can end up with a red card and getting sent off. So I did think, like you, it would be Kobbie that would be replaced, but man has decided different.
Well, the only thing that I can think is there might be a potential problem there for Matthijs de Ligt. So again, let's just hope that's not the case, because Southampton maybe have sniffed an opportunity here. Down the left-hand side it comes with Ryan Fraser, who of course is here at Southampton following a spell at Newcastle. Taken away by Harwood Bellis, who joined permanently from Manchester City this summer. Gets it back, Taylor Harwood Bellis. All the way back now to Aaron Ramsdale, just outside his penalty area, drills a right-footed pass into midfield. Great tackle from Agate, finds Alejandro Garnacho. Garnacho only wants to go one way, and that's fine. Bruno Fernandes, edge of the penalty area, who just pulls his right-footed effort wide of the left-hand upright.
Yeah, Bruno panicked a little bit there. Normally takes his time and measures up where the goalkeeper's positioned, and normally gets his shots on target, but that one's well wide of the target.
Just a little rushed from Bruno Fernandes, wasn't it? Probably had a little bit more time than he realised, actually. Jan Bednarek on the edge of the D of his own penalty area. Comes forward to Downs. Downs plays it back to Harwood Bellis. On, of course, after Southampton saw Jack Stevens, their captain and centre-half, sent from the field for a rash challenge on Alejandro Garnacho. Agate nearly gets caught on the ball, but manages to deliver that back. I promised you the answer to the quiz question, didn't I? That Manuel Agate becomes the fifth Uruguayan to make a Premier League appearance for Manchester United. Can you name the four other Uruguayans? Diego Forlan, Edinson Cavani, Facundo Pellistri, and the one that you may have forgotten, Guillermo Varela, who of course was here during David Moyes' tenure. Guillermo Varela, they're the five. How many would you have got, Lou?
I forgot all four of them.
Balls down the right-hand side for Manchester United.
Out of sight, out of mind, isn't it?
Hard for me to forget Diego Forlan for his escapades on Merseyside.
Yeah.
And Edinson Cavani with that famous Archer celebration. Saw a few goals from Edinson. And of course Pellistri, who only left very recently. Diogo Dalot finds Casemiro. Casemiro right-footed to Harry Maguire. Maguire back to Casemiro. Casemiro just got his head up. He's surveying. He's wondering what he can do with this. Well, he can push it down the right-hand side to Ahmad. Ahmad gives it back to the Brazilian, who lofts one up towards the edge of the penalty area. Back header comes to Alejandro Garnacho from Xerxes. Garnacho just trying to find himself some space. Picks out Bruno Fernandes, who tries to poke it across the penalty area towards Kobbie Mainoo, and doesn't quite complete that pass, so it's turned away by Southampton, but picked up on the edge of the centre circle by Harry Maguire. Ahmad, Casemiro. Casemiro going to try the same thing again. He was looking for Alejandro Garnacho at the back post, decides against it, and we are into the first of 6 minutes added on at the end of the second half. So 6 more minutes for Manchester United to try and find a third, 6 more minutes for 10-man Southampton to survive a Manchester United side with their tails up. Oh, Ahmad snuck in round the back. He's got to the byline, pulls it into the penalty area. Chance for Mainoo, chance for Xerxes. Xerxes sees it cleared away by a retreating Taylor Harwood Bellis, and he's got his hands on his hips. He doesn't really know how he hasn't managed to convert that, Josh Xerxes. Just a last-ditch tackle from Taylor Harwood Bellis.
Well, that was an easy chance, and you're right, he won't realise how he managed not to score there, but it's another attack from United. Here they go again, down the same side of the pitch that's caused Southampton all sorts of problems.
Ahmad and Diogo Dalot trying to cause some problems down the right-hand side. Ahmad trying to find a bit of space to get the crossing. It's Casemiro that does get the crossing, but just a smidge too close to Aaron Ramsdale, who claims well in front of Alejandro Garnacho. Do you know, he takes one touch, Xerxes, he strikes it with his next touch, and instead of going to the left of the goalkeeper, he's tried to wrong foot the keeper and go to the right, and hasn't realised that Harwood Bellis was making a little bit of a recovery run. He just sticks out a toe and clears it away.
I'm trying to think of our goalkeeper in the second half.
I'm not sure he's had a save
to make. No, he hasn't, has he?
I'm not sure he's touched the ball, other than, you know, with his feet. No, I think it has been a very one-sided affair in this second period for Manchester United. They've been very worth their 2-0 lead, certainly in this second period. But Xerxes, you know, in two good positions. He had the sliding attempt in the first half that he could easily have scored and didn't, and he's just had that one which I think he'll feel again that he could have converted. And another day, Josh Xerxes on a hat-trick. Casemiro recycles the ball. It's with Harry Maguire in the centre circle. Now back to halfway, and Johnny Evans, again just taking all of the sting out of this, plays it back to Andre Onana, who plays the short right-footed, side-footed pass to Casemiro, who's playing right-sided centre-half at the moment. Clips this one forward, can't squeeze it through. Ahmad's going to steal it away, and Manchester United are away. The referee says there is a foul from Ahmad. Foul for you?
Not at all. Got that one wrong, badly wrong.
Me neither, but I'm beginning to, you know, just not question it. It's safe and fair. Everyone, if I don't get too wound up by referee. Xerxes. Oh, he's found a brilliant pass to Alejandro Garnacho. Garnacho opens up his body, tries to strike it right-footed. He will win his side a corner. But that was a real opportunity, and that's where Xerxes has been great for me today, is the ability that he's got to find those passes in between the lines. He's been brilliant at that all afternoon.
Yeah, had he taken these two opportunities he had, Liam, he'd have been man of the match, but he didn't take those two opportunities, which is a little bit worrying, because I do think this is probably one of United's easiest games of the season. It's going to be. Defensively, Southampton have been pretty poor, to be honest, and Aaron Ramsdale will have his work cut out between now and the end of the season.
Ball's delivered to Ahmad on the edge of the penalty area. There's a shove inside the box. I think it was Johnny Evans that might be penalised for this, and away come Manchester United after that free kick is given. Harry Maguire is limping out of the penalty area, and all of a sudden I think Erik ten Hag will be just a smidgen concerned, because worst case scenario here, and we don't know, we'll find out after the game, there could potentially be problems for three of Manchester United's centre-halves. Harry Maguire is struggling, and we saw Lisandro Martinez leave the field, we saw Matthijs de Ligt leave the field. Obviously Lenny Yoro's still got his injury, and Harry Maguire is not moving very freely at all. Last thing Manchester United need is more defensive injuries. Kobbie Mainoo, right-hand side for Manchester United, midway inside the Southampton half, but all of the zip has gone out of the game because Manchester United are in game management mode as they try and take all 3 points back up the M23 and M6 to Old Trafford. Fernandes just eased off the ball there. Casemiro steps in, wins it back, finds Diogo Dalot. Dalot goes out to the right-hand side to find Ahmed. Then Dalot goes on the overlapping run down the outside. Ahmed finds him. Dalot just going to keep possession, plays it back into the channel where Casemiro is waiting. Ahmed moves it back to Dalot. Dalot has got Kobbie Mainoo on the edge of the penalty area. Lovely turn from Kobbie, gets the cross into, very nearly makes it through to Bruno Fernandes, but it is intercepted and cleared away, but only as far as Harry Maguire. Maguire, who's just trying to shake something off, finds Casemiro. Casemiro, corner of the penalty area, slides it through brilliantly to Diogo Dalot. Back it comes, Garnacho! And what a finish that is from Alejandro Garnacho. Lovely football from Manchester United, pulled back brilliantly, and Garnacho rifles into the roof of the net for 3-0 United. Game, set, match, 3 points.
Well, it's taken a while in the second half for the goal to come, but eventually it has come. Great work goal down the right-hand side of the pitch. Once again, opened up the Southampton defence. Well, there wasn't a defence there, to be honest. And when Garnacho got in the position he was in, it was only ever going to end up one place, back of the net.
It's a brilliant ball through from Casemiro. It's a brilliant pullback from Dalot, and it is a great finish from Alejandro Garnacho. Gets just enough height, just enough power, smashes it into the roof of the net. Brilliant. Ramsdale, no chance. Manchester United 3-0, 3 points. You'd have been pleased with that one, Lou, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, just my position as well, but 5 yards out. but it's been one-way traffic in the second half. We will not get an easier Premier League game this season, Liam. Second half especially, it's been, well, the keeper hasn't had a save to make. You don't see that very often in the Premier League. Stadium's starting to empty as well, and it'll be a long, difficult season for Southampton.
Full-time whistle goes and Manchester United are confirmed with all 3 points at St Mary's, and a really good game. After the first half an hour, which Southampton made really tricky for Manchester United, a pair of goals following the penalty miss means that Manchester United went in at the break, leading by 2-0. A second half that was one-way traffic. United could easily have picked up 2 or 3 more goals. We had to wait till the very last minute for Alejandro Garnacho to rifle into the roof of the net to give Manchester United their third and confirm all 3 points for Erik ten Hag's side. A brilliant game of football.